After all the hurt feelings that you guys did not see, we've said many mean things. And by we, I mean me. Now, maybe someone can see us out there. My name is Gustafsson. I am delighted to be joined by 8-time Russian champion Peter Svidler. We are here to, again, cover the FIDE-Chess.com Online Nations Cup, a team tournament where we were talking off the air, apparently, about the game. Ding Liren between against Jan Nepomniachtchi. This is board one, China versus Russia. And things have happened, Peter. People will never get to hear the beautiful story you just started telling us because we have to jump right into the action. Is Jan Nepomniachtchi lost at the time we start?
Probably not, because I'm pretty sure this is sort of the starting position of any analysis. Although, I'm trying to remember. Maybe Bishop takes e4 was already a little bit optimistic, because there's definitely some positions in this line where Black just takes this dark square bishop and goes like knight d7, rook c7, rook a c8. Here in particular, knight d7, there is obviously a problem with bishop h3.
Obviously.
I would need to either start thinking or consult my quote-unquote files. Nobody wants either of those things, so let's just let it slide. In the current position, queen d4 is a threat. Normally you would play knight d7 here to have queen d4, knight f6, but that runs into an issue because white has f3 and then g4, just catching that bishop on in the center. Yeah, so Jan goes queen b6, aimed specifically at stopping queen d4 sort of physically. But now, once again, it feels to me like if we go f3, g4, drive that bishop all the way to g7, and then just finish development somehow, we should be quite a bit better with white because of how stuck black pieces are on the queen side. Or even maybe f3, bishop f5, g4, bishop d7, h4, and h5, and play for mate. Also doesn't look horrible. I have a feeling this has gone slightly pear-shaped for Jan here.
Mm-hmm. The people, the good people, still can't see us out there on the Chess24 interwebs. So, I don't know, I might have to tell the other good people. You know, one thing that really makes my day is tech issues. I don't even think it's an issue. We'll be right there. Don't panic, Jan. It's all good.
We do appear to be live on at least one of the platforms we're supposed to be streaming to, so...
I am aware of that. Anyway, so Ding is winning.
Yeah, I like his position quite a bit, although I obviously will not be checking any of my assessments with the proper authorities, so maybe I'm entirely wrong here.
And if you have to go queen b6, something's gone very wrong, no?
Yeah, that's a very bad sign, because that's a wasted tempo, and also you're moving the queen to arguably a worse square. I think you would want it on a5, where at least it puts some pressure on the c3 pawn. But who knows? I don't know how much we can trust the timings. Jan has spent some time, which normally, I mean, we've seen him just absolutely blaze through the opening phase in more or less every game over the MCI. So him down to 20 minutes already, and we will remind the viewers that the time control here is a glacially slow 25 plus 10 time control. Really not seen much of anywhere these days. It's the old standard for rapid chess, which has been completely replaced by 1510 in like 99% of competitions, I would say. So Jan still has plenty of time, but already having spent 5 on the first 15 moves in a line, he quite clearly prepared is not a good sign.
Wow, we're 1 minute in. I'm completely zoomed out already. This is gonna be a rough show, and I apologize in advance. Breathe in, Jan, breathe out. You're live in front of tens of people. The world chess champion Magnus Carlsen might be joining us later. There's no need to panic. Let's have a look at what is going on in this tournament, because today we have some pretty big matchups. China versus Russia, USA versus rest of the world. That'd be a first. And India versus Europe. What pairings do we keep a close eye on? Ding Nepomniachtchi, the one we started with, is a pretty obvious candidate. There's Nakamura Rajabov, who obviously did not play in the candidates, but is back here in action.
Yeah, Vishy against MVL is obviously an interesting one, and there's plenty to look forward to. Obviously, every single game Firouzja plays garners a lot of attention these days. Today he is playing against Linier Dominguez, and they already have a very funky position up.
They're resting Fabi, the Americans?
Yeah, they rested Fabi in a match
Bold
against
strategy,
West.
Peter.
Yeah, but I guess they feel that they are doing well enough to be able to afford to rest the world number 2, and we'll see if it backfires. The U.S. team is very, very. I mean, obviously replacing somebody who is like 28-20 and hasn't had seemingly a bad tournament in about 2 years. That's none of those. I mean, one of those things is true, but he definitely did have some less than stellar tournaments. Is surprising, but I think it's the nature of this event that people will get game time.
Gotcha.
Regardless. Levon in action today, playing white against Vidit. Also a very interesting position on the board already. It seems to be a lively round so far from the limited amount of positions I was able to glance at while we were.
12 games at a time. I struggle even... What's the word for multitasking if it's 2 tasks? Duotasking? Bitasking?
Yeah, let's go with bitasking, yeah.
I struggle even bitasking. So... Oh, what's the smart word for 12? 12 casting is going to be really, really tough. C4 plate.
Yeah, that's the Vishy game, and once again in a very, very brief time I've had to, well, check is maybe strong, but look at positions. It seemed like Vishy was doing extremely well somewhere on move 18, 19, but maybe taking on e6 on move 20. At least the machines were somewhat critical of the choice to take on e6 so early.
Are you computer juicing again? Do I have to use my giant brain against you and the computer while bitasking?
I know it's not fair, but life is just not fair in general, Jan. What to do?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and MVL continues this experiment of just playing the Slav in every single game where he's faced it with 1d4. And yeah, it seems like once again he was today in quite a bit of trouble, but maybe now he should be able to somehow liquidate everything on the queen side and draw.
The big question is, has MVL studied the Slav in the meantime, or is he more of a learning by doing type of guy when it comes to this Slav opening? Also, is this all a big bluff, and then in the candidates, when it resumes, MVL, one of the 2 candidate leaders, he's just going to be playing Grunfeld again? Or is this a real thing? Is this the new Slavonic Maxim Vashila graph? What do you think?
I think it very much depends on how much he hates this experiment. I don't think he already has the answer to that question himself. And, you know, if the Slav continues sort of backfiring and giving him poor positions, seemingly in every second game, it's probably going to get
he clearly hasn't studied the main lines yet, so I'm not sure we can blame the Slav.
Yeah. Here, maybe he thought what the Vishy is doing is kind of not working tactically. But I think it's pretty sure it is. Takes bishop e3. I think maybe he thought knight takes e5 is a move. And then he realized knight e4, defending the bishop on e3, and then playing d5 next move is kind of strong here. And he included knight h6, at least hoping to get the knight to f5. But Vishy quite correctly, I think, played g4, not allowing that. And yeah, I think Black's position was extremely critical at one point.
All right, but Maxim, By the way, with all the smack I'm talking about his openings, does not mean that I do not respect the great Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Au contraire, I think he's one of the, if not the, sharpest guys out there. And that he is, for example, leading the candidates and is the number 2 in the world in rapid with what I, as a nerd, think are questionable openings only shows how incredibly good this guy is.
Yeah, he's not bad at chess, but I think there is some call to question his current opening approach.
Because I see Blobix in the chat, and I know our French friends, they do not like it if I question Maxime's openings. What else shall we look at? Levon. Good to see Levon Aronian back in action. We talked about it yesterday, who of course had a horrible tragedy in his private life with his wife, Ariane Coley, passing away this year. But he is back at the chessboard and he's playing against Vidit today.
Yeah, he found a nice tactical solution to seemingly somewhat self-imposed positional problems. There was a very offbeat way to play the, probably you call it a reti, but I think what it most reminds me of is the reverse bishop d6. What's the name for the bishop d6 Benoni? Probably has a name, right?
I always get it wrong. In German, it has weird birds' names. I'm not sure if this one is the. I'm not sure. Vulture,
yeah,
maybe?
It is more or less exactly this opening with the tempo up, and without the tempo up, I think it's considered to be almost losing by force these days. If you actually follow through with bishop c7, bishop a5, I feel some lines with d6 and then just a direct attack on the king side, where at least supposed to be extremely dangerous and maybe
snake. I'm being told it's a snake.
Yeah, I think an actual snake from the black side is close to unplayable against a well-prepared opponent. But with the tempo up, many things become less horrible. And yeah, Levon right now has a perfectly decent position because he did find that tactical option of winning the d4 pawn. I suspect black equalizes here if he even maybe just takes and goes queen d6 and knight c5. I don't foresee very many problems. In fact, I would still suspect you have to be a bit careful with white. The d3 pawn is very weak, and it's very easy, I think, to end up in some positions where your extra pawn is not very keenly felt. But there are strategic risks. But he is a pawn up, so once again, shouldn't be all that bad.
What's this position? Hare Krishna, Duda.
I was going to ask you. I was pretty sure you would know.
Do I know? This I know. 95 I know too. It's a sideline. Not really a sideline. Fairly mainstreamish line of the Catalan. Black is a choice between c5 and bishop b4 check. This I've also seen in the past. Even this.
Yeah. I think this line, I don't know anything about the actual theory of this line, but I have an anecdote about this line. But we've already established off air just how much appetite you have for my anecdotes today. So
no, go ahead. I'm just distracted with my by-tasking. Please, story time with Peter Svidler.
Yeah,
share it.
It's not my story, but I'm pretty sure this is the opening from the game between Alexander Grishuk and Benji Bok in Hanti last year. And Sasha played...
What's Benji Bok? The Dutch Grandmaster. Sorry.
Yeah, so after bishop b4 check, Sasha played bishop d2 instead of knight c3. Benjamin replied with queen bishop e7. And Sasha played bishop f4. The bishop returned to b4.
Is it... You're wrong, but I'm not sure. We've already established off air. I should be less of an obnoxious jerk today. So I'll just let it slide. Go ahead with the anecdote.
Yeah, bishop before, and then he played king f1. And I asked him afterward, are we sure this is not the position somehow?
No, that's what I'm telling you. It's with the pawn on c6, not a6, but
okay.
I'm not a jerk today.
Sure,
wasn't even
no,
gonna
no,
mention it.
that's actually kind of relevant because there is no threat of queen a4 check in that variation. But basically, he told me afterwards, I asked Sasha what happened in the opening, because he was basically significantly worse by move 10. Black just goes knight d5, knight takes f4, and with the king on f1, those structures don't actually work that well for white. And he said that this is like an interesting byproduct of studying with engines. In that position at home, he knew that knight c3 is the main move, and then he decided just to check bishop d2. And after bishop d2, bishop e7, on his screen, he remembered that the computer said bishop f4 plus equal. And only at the board did he realize that the computer likes bishop f4 because it doesn't really mind, it doesn't understand it's threatening a threefold. So after bishop f4 check, it still goes back to d2 and transposes to some other variation, which it somehow continues liking. But for him, it was no longer an option at the time. So he went king f1 there because he only realized that the machines sometimes suggest things which just transpose to other things without indicating it by a blinking red light somewhere. So yeah, working with machines is trickier than I think many people think, because you often have to interpret what is a bit of a muddied data.
Tell me about it. I work with Laurent Fressinet, who in French chess circles they call the machine, even though he's under a little pressure right now in the chat because Blobix is saying that true French chess fans would never turn on Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, but some mercenaries are working for the Vikings. So there's a lot of heat in the French chess community.
Yeah. And the position on the board, I actually, somewhat unsurprisingly, g4 followed by h4 was played by Dingleren. And now Jan's position just looks horrible because mainly I think you can just take on b5 in the position they have on the board right now. I don't know why he played queen e6. I guess he felt queen b7 is just too far away from the real scene of the action. He gets mated on the king side somehow. So queen d6 at least sort of connects his pieces, but I don't quite understand what he intends to do if white just snaps on b5 and proceeds, under the assumption that he has more pawns, but also the better position.
The good thing for Ding is he has 2.5 out of 7 in the candidates tournament, so he does not have to hold back. His chances do not look great. He can just throw all his opening ideas at these guys. Well, for Jan Nepomniachtchi, MVL, it's maybe a bit of a consideration. Even though we've talked about this plenty in the past, I do not believe that anybody's holding back that much, because usually people don't have stuff. And if you do, you try to play quickly, you have files, and you try to desperately decide before a game, what do I do with white today? But it's not like people have all these lines that give them a crushing advantage, and they decide, no, today's not the day.
Yeah, and another game in the same match, it appears to have been already finished pretty much. Yuangi Karyakin will, I think, end in a draw in the next 5, 4, 3, because she takes b4 and everything comes off.
Come on, Yu Yangyi. Still with the 4 knights?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, honestly, because in particular against somebody like Karyakin, who actually works on chess to begin with, and also generally is not to be, doesn't really get flustered by the idea of holding a slightly passive position. That particular line did not really feel like a very legitimate winning attempt.
Hang on, Danger More 5 is saying, why is Jan not name-checking Niels in the chat? Clearly a snap. Is Niels there? Oh, Niels is there. He's saying Snake Benoni. How are you, Niels? That is our friend Niels Grandelius, who is the Swedish #1, the Scandinavian #2, lives in Denmark, is an expert at drinking coffee, at social distancing, at talking on the phone with his girlfriend. But I think they're now on the same flat, so they probably talk less on the phone. And Laurent Fressinet, because he's a very mean person, saying dinner soon at Niels, hinting that Niels sleeps a lot, which is nonsense. I've talked to Niels the other day. It was like 11:30 p.m.
And he was still up, you mean? And that's like a stunning bit of breaking news, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just checking that I understand you correctly. So yeah, the UNG Karakin game, I think is pretty much over. So that match is now at half a point. With I'm sure Sergey feeling quite okay about the idea of confidently holding on the black side of it, and giving the Russian team a bit of a breathing room. Russia lost yesterday to the US and drew their first match against Europe, I think. Right?
China won both their matches.
Yeah. China so far looked extremely strong, doing quite well on the women's boards, not surprisingly. Although the field is stacked everywhere, including the women's boards, but the Chinese 1 and 2 there do seem extremely strong. Probably because they
Goryachkina,
are.
Zhou, and Jun. Aren't those the... Didn't they just play a World Championship match against each other?
Yeah, pretty much. Seems like Ju and Jun can just take on d4 and play bishop b6, or even bishop b6 straight away. Although I don't know why she is avoiding that endgame. But probably there's not much risk anyway. I'd be somewhat unhappy about the prospect of white somehow defending the knight on d4 with the rook, and then the position being slightly less attractive. But Gareshkina is not interested. She reestablishes control over the c file, but then you still have the option of taking on d4 next move. And
What can you
perhaps
tell
even-
us about Alexandra Goryachkina? My first question, and most relevant one, is if someone's called Alexandra, you also call her Sasha, right?
Absolutely.
So it's Sasha Grishuk and Sasha Goryachkina.
Yes, and Sasha Kostyanyuk and many other Sashas.
Shouldn't we, I don't know, add a little variety to the nickname game?
Yes, but also no.
All right.
I mean, we've had this discussion, and I very much commiserate with well, any foreigner who decides to venture into the Russian pet names for people as well as pets. It's a minefield. It's
Okay, then what can you tell us about Sasha Goryachkina? She's still young for our standards, like 22-ish, somewhere there.
somewhere around that. Yeah, I don't really know her personally all that well. I mean, I've seen her around, both her and her dad, who I think played in Gibraltar alongside her. He's like 2300-ish, I think, if I'm not entirely wrong. Won some nice games there, including against some strong players. But my good friend Alexander Miroshnichenko worked with her a little bit, and from what we've all seen and from what you can gather from her performances, she
Are
is
you
a very
sure
strong.
the name of your good friend is Alexander Miroshnichenko?
Yeah, I'm not. You've just got, yeah. Like, what am I doing, Miro? Sorry.
Oh, show's taking off. Sasha Miroshnichenko. Shout out.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Not good. Anyway, she is a very capable player, but arguably her strongest suit, from what we've seen from her play in recent years, is she is very, very stable. She has a very consistent level, doesn't really drop below, let's say, A minus or B plus game under any circumstances, including in very, very stressful situations. I think this is basically how she won the candidates, because in a field of 8 players of reasonably close strength, she was just the one who did not commit any mistakes under severe pressure and just continued playing close to her A game throughout the 14 rounds, which is obviously incredibly important. And she continues improving, so I think she will be a force. I mean, she already challenged for the world title, but I think she's not going anywhere. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with for quite some time.
All right.
Alexander Miroshnichenko, good God.
That's all right. That's why I'm thinking you need stricter nicknaming policies. It's too easy to forget the real names. Levon Aronian. That's just Lev, right? That's not a Russian thing. That's just what people call it.
Yeah, Lev, or there are diminutives of Lev, which you could attempt, depending on how well you know Lev. Things like Levushka and so on and so
I don't know him well enough to call him Levushka.
Yeah. He's not sorry, he's not better here, obviously, but I think he should be okay. But once again, this is what I was talking about. His previous two moves were c5 and then bishop f4, which I think is a pretty clear indication that he wasn't valuing the extra pawn all that much, despite no immediate threats. But he just felt that he needed to open the c file for his rooks, and also the bishop on the f4 h2 ba diagonal is a lot better than wherever it could be developed otherwise.
Julian Delphiki is saying Jan shouldn't give his good friend Alexander Svidler so much explicit. Fair point. Sorry, I'm cranky and stressed. That brings out the worst in me, I promise. To never be mean to Alexander again. Niels is saying cheers. Cheers, Niels. There's too many games. I don't know where to go. We have not seen Hikaru Nakamura against Timur Rajabov yet. And Hikaru has decided that he just wants to play this one opening with both colors for the rest of his career. Every game he will play this position now.
Every game of the day, every day of the week with either color. Yeah, it's quite remarkable. It really is. But after knight h5, he chooses a different move. He played bishop d3 against Magnus in the finals of the MCI, but now he goes bishop e2.
Oh, I remember having these debates in the 2000s where we were debating, if I go bishop e2, then maybe I can recapture here in one go, and I don't have to go here. My queen will put all this pressure. But then people couldn't find a smart move here, so they did something like queen c2 anyway. And it didn't change that much, but it's subtlety. Sometimes a knight is useful here. Yeah, it's all minor stuff leading to the exact same structure that you get all the time.
Yeah, I once again, I want to venture some opening knowledge, which I suspect will be instantly refuted. But I have a feeling bishop e2, and I use this term very loosely, I feel like we actually came up with it in Kazan.
Yeah, Grishuk played this in 2011.
It's not my authorship by any means, but sort of I was adjacent to people who I think came up with the idea, and I participated in the development of the idea, but it's not mine.
Peter Svidler takes full credit for brilliant 8 bishop e2 move.
That's the headline right there. That's the headline.
But Yevgeny Grishuk played it first.
Exactly.
Or Zhenya, as I like to call him. As we talked about, white is usually better in these structures. It looks like black is active because he has this A file, but long term, this guy is a real problem. And if you don't blunder this pawn on c5 or the pawn on d4, it is normally a long, unpleasant defense for black. Here we have some little specialties. Typically h4 is being met by h5, not allowing this pawn to advance any further. Rajabov has allowed it to go to h5, is saying, you know what, I don't need that. And the question is, can he generate play against that pawn? If he can't, then white can go rook b1, g3, king g2, then play knight e5 or queen b7 or whatever. At his own leisure, he's going to be in trouble. Black, I mean.
Yeah, people are clamoring for us to show the Alireza position. It's actually gotten very sharp.
Where is it?
You've scrolled past it. There's actually 2 Alireza games on your screen, but choose the one which is slightly lower.
There's 2 Alirezas in this tournament? One is already enough to deal with.
And we are joined by the one, the only.
The guy who lost to Alireza.
Exactly. Not the only guy who lost to Alireza, though, in fairness. that wouldn't work quite as well. How you doing, Magnus?
I'm good. I haven't really gotten a chance to catch up on the games so far, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, this looked like it should be completely fine for Black a second ago, and then he barely saved the queen. So maybe I was like, the first time this appeared on my screen was somewhere around bishop before 93, and I thought Black might be slightly better, if anything, but clearly not. I think it remains a very, like, it could just be bad for Black potentially, right?
Is this the actual game? Ali Reza is playing Dominguez?
Yeah, I think this is the actual position.
So Magnus, immediately upon your arrival, people have a lot of questions. Question number one is, what's with the hair? No hairdressers open in Norway yet?
Yeah, they're actually open. I don't know. I'm just having I wouldn't say bad hair day because I haven't done anything about it, but like I think it's just one of those days. Like I slept like 12 hours, and now I cannot function properly.
Been there. And the next question that is immediately being brought up: why are you not playing in this tournament? Cthulhu wants to know, why isn't Carlsen on the Europe team?
I thought we'd sort of ease into that, wouldn't we?
All right. Let's talk chess first. I'm just saying, the people are very curious.
I understand.
So your boy, Ali Reza, is he putting pressure on Linear? What's going on here?
Queen h5, d5. Yeah, I think it's just extremely dangerous for Black.
We're gonna think d5 now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's d5.
He's gone d5.
Yeah, with those two light pieces really not participating, you might just get mated on the king side somehow.
How did he do
So
this?
how about d6 now?
Sorry.
d6.
Then c6, I go bishop c8, and I don't really care.
Well, but now all my endgames are winning, right? Because that knight is not walking through that door. I keep on doing this for some reason. I don't know how to play that game.
I like it.
He's gone c6 instead.
That looks extremely suspicious.
Yeah, now I'm playing d6 like in a heartbeat, and I
queen
really
d5, what do you do?
Ah, yeah, for some reason I only thought about bc5.
Okay, so the rook e5 first looks massively.
Yeah, let's go rook e5 first and then d6, yeah. Also, where does it go? Maybe g4, g3 somehow, yeah, because I think going back is not great. But even this is also like d6, what's the next move though? Looks borderline lost to me, I don't know.
Bishop a6?
h3.
Queen g3.
I don't know, queen e4, g6, and then somehow I'm coming up short. I suspect something like rook e8 just wins there, right? That's the feeling you get from looking at this position. That
Yeah,
there should be some kind of mate here.
I kind of agree.
Yeah, those pieces on the queen side really look like they're never returning into play. I like the d6 a lot better. It was also, I think, a sad choice because you really have to wonder how the knight on a5 is coming back. But at least with the bishop on c8,
sort of stabilizes.
Yeah, but with the bishop on c8, he does stabilize to a degree.
Probably it was still pretty bad. Like c6, bishop c8, then rook e7, with dual threats of rook c7 and queen e4 maybe. But I don't know, rook 6 f7.
Yeah, there's also some maybe potential for counterplay with bishop g4, although I suspect it will never work, right?
Yeah, but also bishop f5 and some lines, trading those bishops, and then the knight doesn't look that bad on a5, considering it's d4.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but now currently after rook e5, queen g4, d6, I would lay very, very good money for this being just outright bad for black.
Ali Reza's
And you are
crushing
considered to be a nit, so
hundreds of rubles.
Hundreds of rubles, yes.
Yeah.
I continue resenting that implication.
I know.
The suited non-connectors you've seen were, numerous, but
Yeah.
nonetheless.
So Ali Reza on board 2 for the world team. Who are they resting? Are they resting Corey? Yeah, I think they're resting Corey. It's probably their A team.
You can actually arrest people.
I think there's 4 open boards and 2 female boards on every team, and they play with 1 female typically, and 3 out of the 4 open. Is that correct, Peter? You know this stuff.
I think this is how the lineups work. Yeah, it's 4+2, but it's 3+1 play in any given match.
All right.
What's the lineup for the rest of the world team? Like Alvarez has board 2.
Yep, I'm not sure if you can see. Let me put it on the screen. It's Rajabov is board 1, Firuza is board 2, and Bassem Amin is board 3. I believe they're resting Jorge Corey, and Sadvakasova is playing on the women's board today. I think they have one of the Musichuk sisters.
Yeah, and they have Maria on the team as well.
It's not a bad team.
Not a bad team at all, but perhaps
but weaker than the others slightly, no?
Yes, slightly softer than the others, I would suspect, but not by a lot. Although Dinara somehow is completely lost with the white pieces already against Irina Krush. It's nice to see Irina play, by the way.
I would strongly object to that. Like, I don't disagree that the objective evaluation is probably at least 1 pawn plus for black, but I do feel like in a practical game as white, you go maybe h4, open the h file, and
but there's nobody there.
No, I know, but then you go a3 and you wait. They have 5 minutes to 6.
Yeah, okay, I take your point. And she's gone
knight e5, the queen lands on a7.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say like, I wouldn't. Although I don't really get knight f6 now, I wouldn't.
I think she wanted to go knight h5 after rook d8 and try to force c5 and then maybe return.
Yeah, but bishop e5, not queen f7, rook d1 is a
yeah, that is kind of strong.
Knight f6, rook e7 on the board.
Rook e7 played also probably perfectly good.
Yeah, but the rook is really bad on e7.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, you obviously wanted to play rook d8 if you could. Yeah. So Magnus's tactic was quite relevant there.
Okay, but quite likely, black is obviously much better, and quite likely that that black is gonna.
Yeah.
Didn't Irina Krush have corona?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's very nice to see her playing because she was, I think she did a very good thing in coming forward and describing her experiences in great detail for those who might also be suffering or, maybe know something who might be suffering. And yeah, she's had a bit of a rough time with it. It's.
I haven't followed it to be honest. I only saw the one Facebook post. She's fully recovered and fine. Yeah.
Well, she's there's some things which remain not at 100%. She is, I think, at this point clear of the virus as such, but there are some lingering after effects which continue being a problem. So
completely off topic, Magnus, how's your coughing?
Oh, that's long gone.
It's long gone, yeah.
Yeah.
And
in general, every story that ends with somebody getting well is very good these days.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. How about, is Caruana playing today?
He's resting.
He's resting.
Yeah.
And somehow
next game I play. No Giri, no Caruana.
Artemiev already beat Wei Yi And in the Russia-China match, like there's only one game running by this point, which is quite remarkable.
How did that go so fast?
Artemiev won a 25 move game against Wei, who appears to have misplayed this English opening position quite poorly, or badly, or horribly, or something.
Ding needs to score for the 2-2.
Yep, and the women's board has been drawn, and as expected, Yuengi Karakin has been drawn. So Ding absolutely needs to win to save the match for the Chinese, and this is obviously very good news both for Russia and for pretty much everybody else playing in the tournament, because China were kind of running away with it. I mean, I understand it's early to say after only 2 rounds, but they did look like they might run away with it.
The format is that the top 2 teams after 10 rounds play a final against each other, right? So, quote unquote, all that matters is making these top 2, I'm guessing.
I think so. How's Jan doing on that topic? Jan is still in a lot of trouble, right? Yeah, he's trying to defend a much worse endgame, but it's not hopeless. It's become a lot livelier than I would have expected out of that opening. Yeah, must have been really, really bad, sort of straight out of the opening. But Ding went for kind of a technical conversion.
Oh, they went for this line. That's interesting.
Did you have this against
I had it against Grishuk, yeah. I just went bishop e2.
And Jan appears to have missed something and is now back to being completely lost.
Yeah, it didn't look great for a while.
But yeah, rook f6, then the pawn runs. Huh?
Yeah, rook f6. I think rook f6 is exactly what he missed, and now it's very, very difficult to stop the pawn from just accelerating towards the d8 square.
Wow.
And after bishop b4, we can just ignore it, play king h4 or...
Yeah, king d7, you just go d6 as well.
Yeah.
Magnus, what do you think about Nepomniachtchi's preparation in general? Because I'm confused. Sometimes it looks excellent, sometimes it looks...
I think it's good in general. It's just that whenever he's surprised, he doesn't want to think. Or at least that's the case in Reborn.
So it's more of a... He doesn't take time when he's out of book.
Yeah, I mean, like he said that during the Invitational, he spent like... he had like 10% of the concentration that he would have in a normal tournament, and I'm thinking like, dude, get your act together. I mean, that's not a good excuse.
Yeah, it's not 10% of the money, right? So you better bring the focus.
Okay, I mean, I understand to some extent when you're leading the candidates, then everything else seems a little less important, but still, I don't know.
Ah, gotcha. Peter
it was definitely,
said he had some trouble sleeping, no, during the event, or what was it?
Yeah, he said he had some issues with sleep, but
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to sleep either after some of the games that he plays. Okay, that's a bit rough.
No mercy, huh?
No mercy, yeah, I'm not sure.
No mercy.
How about Levon? He's a bit worse, I guess.
No, I was about to say I like his position more now. Actually, I thought he was.
Oh yeah, but I didn't see it earlier, so I can't. Really...
Yeah, I think White is now pressing. I mean, the pawn on d3 isn't really going anywhere, and I think we're making... Although bishop f7 is clever, yeah, bishop f7, bishop d5. Kind of starts...
Okay, bishop c3 now.
Yeah, if we can, we should be playing bishop c3 here, and I think we can, right? d2, bishop d5 is nothing, because I can just play queen f2, I suppose. Yeah, probably ends up being some kind of a draw anyway, but I think White is very much out of the woods here with how active his pieces are.
Queen g6. Rook c8, maybe.
Rook c8 or rook e7 or
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're losing. We're probably not. Yeah, at some point I thought maybe we can actually even mount some proper pressure against the g7 pawn, but probably not. But we're also, I think, completely safe.
And I see that the game Nakamura, Rajabov, that has to be, it has to be a Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, no,
It's the one
some
opening
kind of
he
a
plays with both colors.
yeah, some kind of an elaborate joke by Hikaru by this.
Yeah, I mean that was part of the joke with me as well, playing it against him with black. But I mean the joke was very much on me considering the result of the game.
Yeah, isn't Hikaru just much better again after something like rook b7, queen a5, queen b1? Oh no, but maybe rook a1 maybe actually gives black some counterplay. Because I was wondering how we even stop the idea of g4, g5, g6. But yeah, rook a1 and just continue hassling the queen. No, I mean, or in that position, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem... Okay, now...
No, I thought queen a5, queen b1, and then rook a1. I also don't know why I'm playing queen b1 here, to be honest. Like, it's not...
So, I mean, clearly rook b7 must be premature then.
Yeah, it's very difficult to imagine not playing rook b7 in this position. Although, I just wanted to ask you like a general question, Magnus. If the queens do come off here, white is still quite a bit better, right?
No, king comes to d7 and then...
No, obviously, if it's in time to come to d7, then yes. But if...
Yeah. But otherwise, you just put the rook on a7, and then there are no squares, right?
Yeah.
Then you're in time.
Oh, but then, in particular, if that is never the plan, then we have to go rook b7 and look for some tactical shots after queen a5.
Rook b7.
But rook a1 now. What's the deal?
What do you mean?
Rook a1 now.
Queen e2.
Queen c1.
I guess we're safe on g4 if all.
Okay, yeah, g3 is also interesting, but then there's queen h1 and rook a3 maybe. Oh, that's just one check. Rook c7.
Yeah, it's one check. Yeah.
Or actually two. Queen c1.
He does go rook a1. It's interesting. Yeah, maybe he actually believes he has enough counterplay there. I don't think he does.
Let's see.
Queen e2, queen c1. Also, honorable mention maybe in this... No, there's bishop takes e5. I was going to say maybe honorable mention for the move queen e1 there. But...
Queen f4 is a move after g4. I don't know if it deserves...
Oh, let's go king h3. Why are we not playing king h3 here?
Queen e2 is on the board in the meantime. You can see all the stuff on the little board. That's the actual position. Well, here we are moving the pieces, if I'm fast enough to pick up what the big guns are saying. King h3 is one option, g4 the other. Does black have anything other than queen to c1?
You can go queen f5.
No, I mean, we still have the bailout with queen a5, which doesn't appear to be losing by force, but it's such a miserable position. Because the rook on b7 cannot even be attacked by anything.
Job of thinking.
And by the way, Levon has played bishop c3, queen g6, rook e7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feels very safe. Feels very safe.
Okay, anything else?
Shout out to our boy Lawrence Trent in the chat. Lawrence, how are you doing today? Those are the running games left here on the screen. I think Magnus can see it. It's Sadva Kozava Crush, Nakamura Rajabov, Hare Krishna Duda. What's happening? Duda's getting checkmated? No.
Looks like that should be curtains in some way, but I don't currently see how we give mate. But the question is, does black even have a threat? For instance, after king c8, can I play rook a7 and give mate slowly? Or is there some kind of a perpetual I should be worried about? After rook f1, king f1, and maybe queen d3 check, or... That looks like it might actually be a perpetual.
Why? Oh, yeah, you can go king e1. I was starting to think it was mate. But...
Yeah, no, I'm going towards the queen side, and yeah, I probably shouldn't be losing there, but I also don't think we're winning.
Sure.
So yeah, you can't do that. So you need to find mate on your end there. He goes king b8, but I don't think it matters much. You still...
Yeah, I mean, you can always go You can always take on c6 and then go.
Yeah, rook c6, queen e5, queen g5. No, queen g5 in the end will probably run into queen c4, and you might have to give a perpetual.
Played.
So we take one.
You've got to be able to check yourself to do an h. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Exactly. So I think queen e5, queen c7 has to be the move, because we don't want to be allowing king g2 for free. But then, I mean, yeah, there has to be a way to.
Don't I win if I take? Like...
Maybe, but I don't think you.
Is extremely strong.
And Timur found a very, very nice idea. That's very cute.
Oh.
Oh.
That is a very smart move, I have to say.
Yeah.
And I think it actually forces rook b2, which is what Hikaru played, and now we can go back to
b4 doesn't work.
So some sort of takes and then
C3,
d5, knight goes to d4 doesn't work.
Whoa, c3.
Well, c3, d6 should be strong, right? Even this.
Yeah, I'm wondering about this position.
Did we just have this with bishop?
Yeah, I think with the queen on c8, you probably. Although g4.
G4, you have rook f7, but that's just a perpetual.
g4, queen f4, I guess, is at least a draw, right? And maybe more.
How? Queen c6, queen g4.
Maybe not. Yeah, queen g4.
Rook f1. Rook f1 is strong.
Rook b2.
Oh. Rook to a2 then. No,
but I guess queen h5, queen g6, we end up not losing. Or maybe we are, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, you probably are. No, that's okay.
So Nakamura didn't go for any of this, he just went rook b2 back, saying, nice move, sir. But white... Of course,
I'm a little
bit
surprised.
bishop a5.
Yeah, I don't quite understand.
Okay, bishop c3.
But still, like rook c2, rook a3, rook c1. I guess we're not that bothered. Yeah, rook b3 is fine, and then we start running with the king towards d7 anyway.
Yeah.
What was rook c1 for? Just so I understand.
b1.
I wanted to go rook b1, but
okay. So black holds, yeah? This looks active enough.
Yeah, this shouldn't be a problem.
Magnus, strategy question, because I recall in your game I was harshly criticizing the move bc5. Somewhat different position.
I think Lev actually won his game. Or so it looks. That's a beautiful, beautiful trap by Lev. Whoa.
Wowza.
I think this might actually be winning now, because there's no stopping the a-pawn. The a-pawn just queens.
Oh, this is awesome. This is really awesome.
Yeah.
I've never seen this construction. This is very cute.
And basically on move 46, if Vidit goes instead of bishop c2, if he goes queen f7, I assume they just agree a draw, right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that is quite something by Levon, and yeah, I'm very happy to see this.
Of course, queen g5 not forced, but it's a beautiful construction.
Yeah, he went h5 and now g5.
And I just g5, and I mean the setup remains the same. Yeah, you can't leave the g6 square.
G5,
h4, and now we just
H4.
run with the a-pawn. Yeah. No, this is very, very beautiful.
Locked up. Whoa.
Yeah. Alireza is better against Linier, but Linier somehow survived the first wave. So now you have to convert.
Oh yeah.
The pieces did come back, so Alireza won the exchange, but you still need to find mate, because strategically there's enough material for the exchange here.
We've seen something like this.
Oh, we were saying rook e8 actually.
Yeah, I liked rook e8 better. I thought rook e8 was more concrete, but maybe rook e8 knight b7.
Remove defenders.
Shout out to my boy Julian Hodgson, who I'm sure covered this in his book on attack.
Never fails, huh?
Nah,
No,
it's
no.
gotta keep it up.
So how do we win this?
Give a check. That's all I
And
had.
maybe Black actually has so few moves that we don't really care. He played Rook H5, creating a threat of mate in 2, which is understandable. It's a strong
And Rook
threat.
F7?
Rook F7, Rook G5 check, I think, right?
Oh,
Yeah. That's why I lost to Alireza.
And yeah, Linear went Bishop D5, and now
So he's just taken G4, but now D6 is hanging.
yeah, I'm a bit surprised by
Probably
this.
just time trouble at this point.
Yeah, like if the king somehow escapes the cage, Black starts thinking, you know, I might be better.
Mm-hmm.
so Alireza's bungled it.
Yeah. That seems to be the consensus.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
it was actually not even that obvious he was so winning. Not for some time. He was completely winning somewhere around those positions where he picked up on G6, but then he did not play it optimally.
And now King E8, A4.
It really is very unclear, I think.
Yeah.
The rook on D6 is a bit awkward. You would like it on some kind of an active square.
So he just went to E6 and that magically solved the problem.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was something wrong with it, because
Lenier
Yeah,
fixed
it was.
that.
yeah, let me fix that for you. And yeah, young Krzysztof will get away with it. Young Krzysztof's position is now completely fine. In the meantime, Ding did win his game against Jan, so the China-Russia match
2-2, yeah?
ends
Let me
in
look at
2-2.
results for a second. China, Russia 2-2. Ding beats Nepomniachtchi. Wei Yi loses to Artemiev. Yu Yangyi draws Karyakin. Zhu Wenjun draws Goryachkina. USA up 2-1 against the rest of the world, so Alireza has to win this against Dominguez to even the scores. And Europe is up 2-1 versus India, meaning Jan Krzysztof would have had to win, but he is not going to be able to do it.
It's so confusing when people from Europe are playing for the rest of the world.
Yeah, more than a little.
What are the rules? There are no geographic rules, right? It's just an invitational thing, I'm assuming.
Pretty much.
So Crush won her game against Sadvakasova, and Alireza has to win this one. I'm assuming Magnus referred to Alireza, not Rajabov, yeah? Or
What?
do you refer to Alireza or Rajabov with people from Europe playing for the rest of the world?
Huh, that's funny.
Nah,
It took me some time. I'm just slow.
it's all right.
Those 12 hours of sleep are.
Yeah, they're getting to me.
Lenier.
I, on the other hand, would very much like to know your secret.
It's getting very little sleep the day before.
Ah,
It's not rocket science.
that does help. Yeah,
Uh,
that does help.
Bishop H5.
Bishop H5. Yeah, it looks like it might be going very wrong for Alireza, but maybe he's still sort of in control.
Why is he going King G1? That seems insane.
Yeah, I would have played King E1 there in a heartbeat. King E1, Knight of 4.
Now Black is at least a perpetual. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe
No, he goes to h4. I'm pretty sure he goes to h4, in particular considering the match situation.
Oh, you can go bishop e6 after rook f3.
Hang on a second, isn't rook f1 just winning now?
This
Well,
looks
maybe
a little-
not, because rook g2, yeah? Rook g2.
Rook g2. Okay, whatever. Knight f4.
For rook g1, this is...
Oh. Oh. Okay, then we take and we go grab on g5 and we're very happy.
Yeah, we are actually not unhappy about this at all, yeah. We're probably technically
The
winning.
rook g2 has happened.
Yeah, so now he has that option and also...
Also he takes and then rook
Yeah, I
f5.
mean, you can go bishop g2, king g2, rook g1, rook g5, rook a5.
Oh, rook at g1. Yeah, that's easier.
Yeah.
He took.
It doesn't win, but they don't need him to win this match to win this game to win the match, so it's fine.
Playing it safe.
Yeah, playing it extremely safe. Black obviously
Yeah.
runs precisely 0 risks here. If you play this for a win, do you win, Magnus, or is it likely a draw? Like, if you actually cared enough to try hard here with black and try to win this, are there any chances, or?
I think it's actually less than there would be with a pure 3 against 0.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. That it's a good pawn on a4 actually in this structure.
Yeah.
It's a hindrance to black's plans.
So
But I
now-
think general consensus is 3 doesn't win against the bishop, right?
No, but it's kind of unpleasant to defend.
Yeah, of course it is, and you will lose some of them, but
For sure. With very little time, then I wouldn't say win half, but
yeah, you win
probably
some,
win.
you win some. But obviously they just agree to draw here because black is slightly the stronger side and he doesn't need to.
I think it's high
Continue
time
trying.
to bring the standings up on the screen. And let's see what happened. USA wins again. 2.5, 1.5 against the rest of the world. Europe.
They catch up. They catch up with China, both of them on 5 out of 6 match points, and nobody else in plus, which is quite something. Yeah, two teams completely running away with it so far.
Who are the
a full
strongest
match-
teams on paper? It must be USA and China, no?
Yeah, I suspect so.
Although, how bad can this Europe team be with MVL, Levon, Duda, and Musichuk?
So
Or
what's the name of the show today?
It's suggested the J. Carlsen Peterman show. Doesn't really work, does it?
What about Peter, Björn, and Jan?
Peter Björn
That's
and Jan.
Peter, Björn, and Jan. That's the name of a band, right?
I thought you were referring to the man who just broke the deadlift record, but
Oh, no, I wouldn't know.
Björn means bear in Norwegian. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think you can pass as Björn with.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I think I could. But I think that's the band that have the young folks song, and we don't care about the young folks. So
Clearly.
whatever. It's a little.
yeah.
Peter Björn young folks indeed, yeah. Also seems a bit of a one-hit wonder. That's the only result I get.
Which is not something we are, right? We're
We are.
You know that Peter Björn and Jan has a song "Nothing to Worry About" in the Jan Hammer remix. Not a joke.
wow. But Jan Hammer is the guy who has the Miami Vice theme song.
Wow, it's all coming together.
It's
Yeah.
It's I'm learning so much.
It's Peter, Björn, and Jan, not Jan.
Yeah, it's
right?
all right. If you're
Then it's a
Björn,
little-
I can be Jan. That's
Then it's a little weak.
I have to admit I didn't get the J. Peterman thing yesterday. I think Peter did. Peter is more of a sign.
No. I also was not aware. We've had to
Okay.
explain to both of us.
I don't know. Just it's Jay and then it's the Peter man. I think it works.
So what are... Nah, let's screw the highlights. Why are you not playing, Magnus? What's happening?
Okay, so there are a number of reasons why I'm not playing this tournament. Mm, First of all, there is no contract that says that I cannot play chess.com events. Like I played the Isle of Man tournament last year, which was FIDE chess.com. I was on the broadcast there, and it wasn't really an issue at all. So that's not really it. Um, I think for me, it would have sort of been felt more important to play if I had been, let's say, American or Chinese or even Russian. Like
Right.
representing your country in such a tournament feels really huge, but representing Europe, I don't know. I don't feel that strongly about Europe, to be honest. I would have preferred to be in the rest of the world team if I was going to play. That feels like, yeah, rest of the world is cool, but even Russian, yeah, sure.
So you feel number one as a Norwegian and then number two as a citizen of the world.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel strongly about it, but like, the point is like, yeah, there was no real, like I've played Olympiads representing my country, and that's been a lot of fun, and it feels great, but this didn't feel quite the same.
And they wouldn't put in a Norway team if you say you want to play for Norway, like you're the world champion.
Yeah, but I don't know. It would just feel a bit misplaced since it's the biggest chess countries in the world, and we're not like we have very good players. I love this country, but we're not one of the best chess countries in the world.
On the women's board, maybe you need some support there as well to compete.
Yeah, for sure. Then also, I was contacted by FIDE. They were pushing me to play this, and I was very surprised that actually, since they're having it on their platform, nobody from chess.com even talked to me or my father about playing. Like, at least like tell me that you want me to play. If you want me to play, like if it's not important to you, then it's okay, but don't like push the FIDE guys in front of me, especially if you have nothing to offer.
Okay. Do you think it's getting a little weird with all the politics? Like, obviously, we're not going out of our way to mention Chesscom on our shows. I don't think they're.
But I think like it's a great event that
yeah, for sure.
and Chess.com are putting on. So I think for us not to cover it would be insane. It's genuinely great chess content.
Yes, 8 of the top 10 in the world are playing. So yeah, in these
Yeah,
times.
it's an awesome event. So I mean, I'm a chess fan. Obviously, I'm going to follow it. So I don't know.
Yeah. Frankly, there's not many other sports going on in the world, so I'm just grateful for any big chess event we get these days.
The KBL is restarting apparently, and people are very, very excited about that.
What is the KBL? Korean baseball?
Korean baseball league.
Oh.
And
no, so that was like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't have a problem to play another tournament after the Invitational, but like this really, regardless of the platform it's played on, it didn't tempt me quite as much to play, and also like they genuinely didn't make me an offer to play, so there was really nothing much to talk about there, but like it's not like I've closed the door on playing chess.com events ever. Like it would probably take more, obviously, than for our side to play on Chess 24. Obviously, there's a difference there, but I don't know. And in general, like I think when there is great chess tournament, when there are great chess tournaments out there, like bring it to as many people as you can. Talk about it. It's a great thing that there are these very interesting things happening these days, and it doesn't really matter where it's played. I mean, to some extent, we're in this together. But as I said, there it wasn't really very tempting for me to play. I mean, there wasn't very much there, but I do enjoy it as a spectator.
Sure. Do you know when you'll be playing again? Is there any announcements to be made already? Is there anything happening?
I don't know. There will be more tournaments on our platform for sure, but we're not supposed to announce them yet, so we're not going to do that.
No, it was a genuine question. Of course, I heard some behind the scenes talk, but I'm not sure if there's anything.
No, I mean,
official or decided yet.
There's nothing official, but something will happen in May. That's what I can say. So, but I will be off for at least a week more, I think.
What do? Can you go outside again? Here it looks like pretty normal life already.
Yeah, in Norway it's pretty relaxed. I was out on a bike today, and people are walking around like it's pretty normal. So there is still distancing of the type social, but it's not like a major hindrance to living a normal life, especially if you don't have a normal job as I don't.
Do you have a mask when you go out?
Nah, I don't. I saw that Trump doesn't wear a mask, so I followed his example. No, seriously, yeah, I probably should, but nobody is really doing that in Norway.
Yeah. Also, the usual disclaimer, not a virologist here, but I keep being more and more confused. At first I was told it's good to wear a mask outside. Now I hear that, outside it really has zero impact. So it's all very confusing. But here in Germany, usually we wear masks in supermarkets, but not outside. I think is what people have settled on. Either way, Peter, are you still there? Weigh in here.
I am still there, yeah, but there was not much to add to that discussion from my side. Things will happen in May.
Things may happen.
Yeah. Some things may never happen.
Okay, so has it been discussed? Why aren't you playing the tournament, Peter? The Nations Cup?
I'm not good enough. I mean, that's like as usual for the past few years. Whenever people raise that question, it normally is phrased, "Why aren't you and/or Sasha playing in this?" And progressively, it's really only Sasha.
Why is Sasha playing?
He has his own reasons, which if we ever get him on the show, maybe he'll talk. But I don't feel it's my place to discuss them for him.
Do they
So
even know that you won the Pepe and DB's Invitational?
I'm not sure whether they know and or care.
Giant Slayer is asking, is Magnus participating in the European Online Cup? I have to admit, I don't know what that is. Magnus, do you know about that?
No, I mean, I don't really know what it is. And the answer will probably be no.
Gotcha. When are the games continuing? It's now 16:25. Peter, you know these things. 16:45?
Yeah, it's supposed to be at 45 past the hour, so we still have some time to wait until they restart. This round went a lot quicker than the first round of yesterday.
Yeah.
So what do we do? We just talk?
Nah.
That sounds awful.
Usually, the plan is to fill these breaks with some banter blitz. I'm just not sure I can capture anybody's screen right here, right now.
Shouldn't we just do like a Q&A? People in Chess24, Twitch, YouTube chat, whatever, they can ask us questions and then we will reply if you want to.
That's a great idea. If you're game for that, people, if you have a question for the world champion, Magnus Carlsen, or the 8-time Russian but 0-time world champion, Peter Svidler, then post them in the Twitch chat or the Chess24 chat. As usual, Chess24 premium members get preferential treatment.
I won the under 18 once, he said sadly.
If you have a question for world champion Magnus Carlsen or 8-time Russian champion, 1-time Pepe and DB's Invitational winner, and 1-time world under 18 champion Peter Svidler, then ask them.
You really know this at heart, huh?
Filipino is saying, Magnus, what is your favorite comic?
Oh, yeah. So I grew up with Donald Duck. But I would say now, is this like a comic? I'm
not sure if it means comic strip or comedian, but let's go with both.
Oh, comedian? I don't know. I don't really laugh. Okay, so I would say comic strip now. Yeah, it used to be when I grew up. It was Donald Duck things. Now I would say it's Pearls Before Swine. I really find the puns there speak to me a lot.
What's it called?
Pearls Before Swine is excellent.
Ah,
yeah,
okay, never heard of it. I'll check it.
It really, really is very good. Yeah. So you're not an ex-KCD kind of person, eh, Magnus?
No.
Because I think they actually go quite well together. I don't think there is a, like, there needs to be a division on the Pearls people and the ex-KCD people.
Red Ribbon 3700 wants to know, were the invitational matches very taxing, particularly the final?
Oh, I would say the final was okay. In the final, I was just very focused. But the semifinal, that was like a serious blow to my nervous system. So yeah, in the semifinals, I really went through the whole range of emotions, and then the final was kind of calmer. Like as I said on the show, the semifinals, those were like some of the most tensions I've felt in a long time, and fortunately the finals went a little bit easier.
Had you given up hope after the opening went wrong against Ding in this game number 3? I'm sure you've addressed it before. I'm just curious.
Yeah, like a little bit, but mainly I was just pissed. I don't know. I guess I didn't really think much at all.
Alkyoni is saying, when do you think you will lose the world title, or will you stop when you feel you lose it? Wow, loaded question.
Oh, that's a very good question. I guess we'll see in the future, but I do kind of like the idea of quitting the World Championship before you're like way over the hill. But I would also say that I could one day quit the World Championship and still play chess professionally. So that's what I would say.
Interesting. There's a question. Do you follow the NBA?
There is no such thing as the NBA these days, if you haven't noticed.
Did you watch The Last Dance, the Jordan documentary?
Oh yeah, I watched the first 6 episodes that have come out. Like I spoke to Peter Heine here the other day, and he'd obviously downloaded the whole thing.
It's out there. There's only 6 on Netflix. No, wow, Peter Heine.
Apparently, maybe he's just been scammed. I don't know. But apparently it exists. But no, I'm eagerly awaiting the next episodes. And I didn't really grow up watching Jordan, so a lot of the things are new to me, and it's really is some of the best. Some of the best sports entertainment we have these days that does not start with Magnus and end with the Invitational.
Very well said. Yeah, I've seen every episode like 3 times for lack of other options. Hola, amigo. Question for Peter. Where did you learn your fantastic English, Peter? And what other languages do you speak?
That's a good question.
That's an excellent question. No, I don't speak anything else apart from Russian, English, and English mainly through practice and reading books. And yes, because the legend has to be carried on. Yes, the Leisure Suit Larry has to get an honorable mention in that list.
M. Lauer question, I guess for both of you. Who do you want to meet when you can choose one person who is not a professional chess player?
Are you a professional chess player, Jan?
I don't see myself that way, but yeah, a chess personality. Yeah, you can meet me if you choose to.
Nah, I don't. I was gonna say it wouldn't be you. I don't know. I feel like, nah, I cannot name one person. Yeah, not gonna call.
You're so big, you can probably meet anybody you want to meet anyway, right? It's not like the dream that people have of meeting Magnus Carlsen. For you, it's just a phone call.
Your words, not mine.
Von Eaglefell saying he's already met Bill Gates. Cthulhu saying, how about me? Next question. Magnus, is the Berlin endgame good for white amateur players?
Is the good Berlin endgame good for white amateur players?
I also don't quite get it. If you should go for the endgame with white, break a 90, or what do you mean?
The way I understand the question, my answer would be no, but maybe I misunderstand it. I think generally it's a... Yeah, but then the black player would also not really know very much there, so it's going to be an even playing field.
So you're asking if you should go d4 here, or rook e1, or d3, or what do you mean?
Or d3 here, yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, I would say it's a bit too specialized. So like learning Ruy Lopez structures is better, I think, for general development. So if you wanted to make it a specialty of yours, actually slaying the Berlin, then good for you. But otherwise, I certainly wouldn't start there.
Yep. Peter, I bored you some time. Who would you like to meet that's not a professional chess player or me?
I don't know, Dylan? Somehow was the first name that popped into my head.
Dylan from Beverly Hills 9210? I think he's dead.
That's exactly the Dylan that I mean, yes.
Bob Dylan, yeah?
Yep.
What would you ask him?
I don't know, just I'd be extremely shy, and like honestly, I've been in those situations once or twice in my life, and I have no idea. Like I do feel like I'm imposing, and like there would need to be somebody probably who would, work as a conversation starter. But there are so many things that I would generally want to talk about with Dylan. Dylan is just a very, very, I think, a very interesting person to talk with. He's seen quite a lot, and I think he has a very unique viewpoint. But yeah, I wouldn't know where to start. But if not for the horrendous shyness that nobody will believe in, there are plenty of potential topics there.
All right. At least you apologized. And Mr. Bonko25 is asking the big question. Magnus, are you and Geary friends or deep rivals? Or both?
I think the boring answer there is like neither. No, I would say we're neither friends nor rivals, nor both. I don't know. We're not really enemies. Okay, I'm just gonna say we're friends and rivals, whatever. I think that's what people want to hear.
Frenemies. Nick Arshakuni is saying, Magnus, is it possible to imagine to meet you walking on a street alone? Wow, that's half creepy. Without Nielsen, Henrik Carlsen, or anybody else.
He really thinks those are the people I hang with on my free time. That is disgusting.
Nielsen is always 10 steps ahead of you.
Nah, I mean you gotta. Okay, so you gotta try, see if it happens. But I live a pretty normal life in Oslo, so yeah. But please don't come.
Ali Mahmoudi is saying, Magnus, are you still in touch with Gary?
No, not very much. I talked to him and had lunch with him in New York last year when I was in New York for a few days. So I wouldn't say we're out of touch, but we don't really talk much. But we're on good terms.
Question for Peter from J Bro. He's saying, Peter, who are your top 5 chess players ever, apart from Gary, Fischer, and Magnus? Wow. So
I would, let's say Taalalehin. Is that like personal preference or objective strength, or?
It means you don't respect anybody you don't put on that list, and you consider them your enemies.
Yeah, that clarifies things quite well. Those ordering things always confuse me, but let's say Taalalehin, Kappa, Vishy, Kramnik in some order.
Gotcha.
And I already feel bad about a number of names I've left off that list, but
disrespect.
Yeah, the unbelievable disrespect.
Follow-up question for Magnus. The crippled king wants to know, who would you pick between Vishy and Kramnik? I'm assuming he means like legacy-wise.
I would say Vishy for sure. But I think this is undecided. Like if everybody starts playing like non-castling chess or capture your own pieces chess or anything like that, like if that turns out to be
the future of chess,
then that's gonna swing the balance pretty heavily in Vlad's favor. But
because he actually played 5 games of those, or
well, he suggested a lot of them.
So you don't think Vishy would be able to pick that up on the fly if he chose to?
No, I'm just saying that the legacy is going to be that Vlad
Okay.
only became the world champion. He actually, like, you talk about people changing the way chess is being played. Like, these people, like, Vlad would genuinely change the way chess is being played. So, otherwise, I think apart from beating Gary, I mean that's obviously a massive argument, but I think Vichy has more arguments in terms of just world championships and tournament victories. But it's not.
Vichy
It's
did
not.
beat Kramnik in 2008. To me, that's
That's
between
also.
them.
That's also something. So I think it's not in my book. It's not that close. But Kramnik, you could certainly make a case that he's top 10 all time, but not a lot more, I think.
Der Dondi is asking, is Magnus into video games, and if so, which ones?
No, so I was brainwashed by my parents to thinking, video games suck. So that's basically it. I never really played them too much. I had a FIFA phase after I moved out of my childhood home, but recently there hasn't been too much.
Peter, what about you? Do you play video games? Not counting
No.
Hearthstone and these things.
Never.
Mr. Dodgy. Mr. Dodgy is saying, who is the dumbest 2700? Come on, Mr. Dodgy.
Oh, that's a good question. Like, without giving away too much information, I mean, Jan, you've been part of this. There have been, we've
Yes.
done basically the whole 2700 plus list, and we just divide them into smart and dumb. This probably should have been kept secret, but whatever.
It's a fun game. We don't have to reveal the results, but yeah, the dumb or smart game has been played excessively.
So the dumbest. I don't know.
Really wishing I sent back some more before this came on air. I'm still 27-20 and I'm now quaking in my boots.
No. That's just fake. That's absolutely fake.
Fishing.
Yeah, I would say, like, I always insisted that I should be in the dumb group, but nobody.
Yeah, but you didn't get a majority.
No, and Hammer is saying he's not 2700. Hammer was not in the dumb group though. Like, he was definitely mentioned.
Hammer's been discussed in other contexts, but I think he's considered smart mostly, no?
Yeah, he's considered smart. Like, there was a case to be made in the likable, unlikable, that Hammer would be in the unlikable group. Oh. But dumb, no. Okay, let me come back to it.
Zeelandsen has a follow-up question.
What's the next question? Sorry?
Zeelandsen has a follow-up question, which we also can't really answer. Which 2700 plus is the most socially awkward? Which isn't?
That is just rude.
Yeah. Can't go
I
there.
don't like that.
Mr. Dodgy is saying, Jan, read out the 2700 list and we'll judge based on Magnus's facial reactions. Oh no, that game has been played off the air excessively, but we just can't do it. Come on. Peter, do you have an answer? Who's the dumbest 2700? Right up your alley.
Yeah. Let me look up the list.
Okay, I'm gonna look up the list as well.
Let me look up the list. And see if I have a favorite at least.
How could this possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I
have a favorite. Oh, I definitely have a favorite now. Okay, yeah, there is no question.
I'm still confused. I'm very undecided on this. I don't know.
Moving on.
moving swiftly on. Yeah.
Don't you want me to give you the answer? Yeah.
Yeah, by all means.
I'm telling you, he's a friend. He's a friend of yours.
Friend of mine. Oh yeah, I know who you're thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not always been. He's been like hovering around 2,700.
That's
Normally
harsh.
plus.
You think it's harsh?
That's harsh.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
I have many friends, so people have no idea who it could possibly be. Very popular.
yeah, obviously, yeah.
Let's make it.
I was going to go in the other direction. Actually, I was.
There's more strange questions, even though this one I think we can clear up because I think I know the answer. Wes Bishop is saying, Peter, I never understood if you and Daniel Dubov are on good terms. Always thought you really dislike each other.
No.
Wow.
No,
Going
no.
straight.
No, he's
for
saying you always thought you really dislike the guy, is what he's saying. Sorry, I misread.
No, there were periods when I liked him less than I like him now, but I never really disliked him, and those were ages ago when he was well, really, really young, and you know, there were legends about him when he was much younger. But no, I'm very, very on very good terms with him. We talk outside of events, and I will probably get a message now asking me when those times were and so on. But yeah, no, we're on very good terms with Daniel. We don't see each other enough to, be close friends. But
So, what do you think about Daniel not being invited for the Russian team?
2718, Rapid, no?
Yeah, Rapid World Champion.
it's curious, and obviously a question is legitimate there. I honestly have no idea what the selection process was. I know a little bit more than sort of officially available, but still very confused as how they went through the list and chose who they chose. Apart from obviously, I mean, Karekin is always going to play, but some things are very constant, but everything else is in flux.
Ariton 8 is saying, was Magnus talking about Van Foreest? Shout out to Jorn Van Foreest. He's not 2,700 yet, but he will be an instant contender once he makes it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Kidding, Jorn. No, that's not what he's talking about.
I love Jordan. He's my boy, but he's a bit dumb.
Nah.
Yeah.
He's really not. What other questions do we have? Which is Magnus's favorite pawn? P-A-W-N.
That's a bit dull.
Yeah. Guys, we need more questions. J-Bro is asking, Magnus, who's the GOAT? LeBron, Kareem, or Jordan?
So I think Jordan is the best, but LeBron is going to be the best when it's finished.
Fair enough. Who do you think are the biggest complainers in chess? Sasha,
that's your question, right?
Name Peter and Jan Nepomniachtchi.
I think it's hard to beat those.
This is, okay.
Peter, you agree?
I kind of oscillate between.
You're gonna complain, right?
Yeah, I gotta complain about this, obviously. Yeah, like this is now my brand, but I'm also not entirely happy about it.
Brussels CLLA wants to know, what was the real strength of Morphy and Steinitz if you compare without the opening theory? I don't know. I thought Morphy was great. Magnus, thoughts?
I found it very, very difficult to judge how good Morphy was. I have to say.
I had a long discussion about this with chat yesterday. It's just so difficult to figure out, and also like conditions need to be specified. Like Morphy with access to, modern sources of learning, and Morphy given some time to reacquaint himself with opening theory and so on and so forth, because obviously Morphy trying to do what he was doing then against people now would not work very well, but provided he was given some time to adjust, who knows.
Pekko H wants to know, how did it feel to adopt Ali Reza and Bullet on a certain undisclosed chess website?
I don't know what you're talking about, but it felt good. You know what felt even better?
What's that?
It was quitting after I'd done it.
Wow, did you you quit after? Wow. That's so mean.
That's just illegal.
What is your favorite Premier League team?
I think Hammer used to say that I'm a win quitter. That's even more annoying. No, what did he say? Like I'm a lose quitter. That's more annoying than a win quitter. I don't get that at all. Like a win quitter is definitely
win quitter is so tilting.
Yeah, that's a hit and runner is one of the most hated figures in any game, right?
It is.
Fuzzy Dunlop. Oof, this question might make my life miserable. Magnus, your views on my system?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have any really strong views. I think it's a lot of nonsense. Some of it's viable. A lot of it's like he's the one presenting these concepts, but they weren't exactly new. I don't know. It's an interesting book, but it's really hard for me to say because I didn't really read it before. I think I was 11 or 12, and by that point, most of these concepts were known to me already. So I didn't really it didn't really affect me much.
What else do we have? What is your favorite city to play big tournaments in? Maybe to both of you.
Is Vacancy a city?
Sure.
I think it's the answer is that I generally prefer playing chess in places that are not cities. So I don't really know. I've played chess in London and in New York for World Championships. I didn't really enjoy it too much because it's a bit too much noise and everything. But yeah, Peter, you probably have a better answer.
No, not necessarily. And yeah, I mean, smaller places have their own attractions, of course. But how exactly was it phrased?
Your favorite city to play big tournaments in, but I think small tournaments would be allowed to.
Yeah, no, because I haven't actually played very much in London, for instance, and London is my go-to answer about favorite cities in general. But things I did play in London were kind of exhibition-ish, and you did not have the feeling of, something that was, putting a lot of pressure on me. So I enjoyed it fine. But yeah,
what do you like about London, though?
I don't know if I just genuinely like the city, and I know a lot of people don't, but for me, I feel comfortable there. And
follow-up question, Von Eaglefeld. Peter, would you ever move to Britain permanently? It's
a kind of a semi-joking, dream is maybe a strong word, but it's something that's been discussed in the household. Moving to the Shires when we're older. And
why do you want to be English so much? No, that's
It's a
phrasing it
Malay.
wrongly.
It's a Malays. I mean, it's
I do U.S. cultural appropriation. You do UK. Yeah, that's our brands.
yeah. I genuinely kind of like the idea, but mostly theoretically, because there are obviously a lot of things which make that idea difficult to realize.
Rawand Hamid is asking, Magnus, what is the best game you ever played? Chess game, I guess he means.
Oh, I have no clue. I don't know. Like, I'm so rarely happy with games that I play. So I would say the game against Ernst that people are talking about is massively overrated. I think that's just a very, very simple combination. To be fair, I have no clue. Like, ask me in 30 years or whatever.
Let me set my timer. What else do we have? What is your favorite Marvel movie, Magnus? Are you a Marvel movie guy?
No, not at all.
Peter, what about you?
Yeah, hard to say. One of the Thors probably, if I have to choose. No, hang on a second. Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Both Guardian movies are pretty good, no? We saw
Yeah,
that
but
together in Norway. Tromsø. Shout out to Tromsø.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but I think 1 is miles better than 2, and I think 1 is an actual good movie. So let's go with that.
Shaheen Mohammed wants to know, Magnus, do you teach Norwegian title players your chess secrets?
Definitely. I mean, I do talk to Norwegian players. I'd like to think that I might have taught them something, but I don't do it. I don't do it that often. But whenever other Norwegian players have questions, I answer them as well as I can, obviously.
Fair enough.
So there are a lot of people who are asking me whether I was wearing proper pants during the Magnus Invitational, and the answer is, like, get your head out of your ass. Like, what you could see was very professional. Don't care about the other things.
I'm working hard here to filter the questions, and then you read it out to call them out?
Yeah.
What was that an answer to?
If Magnus is ever wearing pants during the Invitational, or if he was Donald Ducking it. What's going on? Federer or Nadal, Magnus?
Oh,
Come on, Team Djokovic.
no, so I would say as a, I think Nadal always appealed a lot more to me at the start of my career. I would generally probably slightly prefer to watch Federer play, but I would say I can relate a lot more to Nadal. And yeah, as Peter would say, probably I prefer Djokovic to them both. So.
SMLD wants to know, how much chess do you guys play with friends, colleagues when you chill? Being drunk, making up handicaps, humiliating each other. Humiliating Lawrence, it says particularly, etc.
So I think the idea of the match against Lawrence came up because I had this match with a friend of mine. It was like an elaborate match with lots of different games, but the chess part was rook odds. And this guy is like 2200. He was almost an FM at some point. And I think maybe Lawrence came to Norway and we were discussing this thing, and we basically agreed that we were we're gonna have the match with Lawrence, and then I think it took half a year, and then we were in St. Louis. We thought we'd have a little bit of an audience. Let's do it now. And frankly, it was probably a very bad thing for him that we actually had a good audience, because he really did pretty horribly in that game. Like, frankly, every game that he did not win in the opening, he had serious problems. Like, I was playing these hippo setups. At some point, I think I prefer to remove the rook from a8 or a1. No, sorry, the rook from h1 or h8. But I mean, I had serious problems getting out of the opening. But basically, when I got out of the opening, that was I was doing pretty well. So, but I mean, I don't set out to humiliate people in general, but I don't avoid it religiously either.
Next comparison here: Messi or Ronaldo?
Oh, I like both. I think. I mean, I've always supported the team that Ronaldo has been playing, but I think probably we're gonna look back and think that Messi was slightly better, especially since their careers have overlapped, and Messi probably has. He's a bit younger, so he's gonna continue longer. So I would say Messi, but not by much. And I think anybody who cannot enjoy both are not real football fans, to be fair.
Ulysses wants to know: Peter Heine-Nielsen recently speculated you would be able to draw Stockfish if Stockfish plays without opening book, if I remember right. Jan, please correct me. I do not know about that. Do you share Peter Heine's opinion?
Short answer is I don't care, and I'm not the slightest bit interested to find out.
Mr. Dodgy, what is that question? Fischer plus Messi versus Kasparov plus Federer at basketball. Good question, Mr. Dodgy.
That is a good question.
Fischer plus who?
Fischer plus Messi against Kasparov plus Federer at basketball.
Messi is not huge, right?
Neither is Kasparov, though.
But Gary is also not a very tall
But Fischer, I feel like Fischer could post up. He could post up smaller guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Federer is dominant among these four.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, he grew up playing all these different games. Federer is crushing. I'm going Kasparov Federer.
Yeah, I think the temptation has to be to pick the side with Fischer in it because he is tall, and the sportsmen probably somewhat compensate each other. But yeah, Federer versus Messi at basketball, you have to take Federer, right?
Also,
Yeah,
Messi is not a physical presence, right? Like, he is more of a technical genius. No, I'm not sure how much it helps in basketball. Well, of course, he's a professional athlete, but he's not like... Is he pushing Bobby around? Or Gary?
Yeah, who knows, yeah.
So, I mean, the question is, like, who's gonna... Like...
I'm homeless says Fischer is dead. That's a 2 against 1.
Yeah, we're assuming they're all 29 years old.
It had to be pointed out that, you know, this is an observation worth mentioning.
And Sadie101, since he's asked so often, if you're young, would you like to getting coached by Kasparov or Karpov? Peter, did you get coached by Kasparov when you were young?
No, I was a pupil in Kasparov school, but I did not get any personalized coaching, and Gary wasn't there very much in those years already. And the first game we see of round 6 is this Queen's Gambit again. It does feel like some kind of a prank by this point. Like, what is this?
What has Hikaru done? Or actually,
It's not
Rosenberg
Hikaru.
played this
No,
for a while. I know, but
the
Hikaru's
funny bit
put it
is,
back on the map.
yeah, and now they're all appearing one by one. So we probably should start talking about.
Oh, but they're
chess.
playing this sharp line.
Yeah.
How does this go? CB. Ugh, I can't remember.
Yeah,
Do you go
Sasha was
C6
making-
here?
Sasha was making an argument for the other line, right? That it was.
That's a different position. No? That was with Queen to C7.
Yeah, that was a different
What are
position.
you
Sorry.
talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here C6 knight takes B5, right? Is the main line.
I've seen stuff here. I can never recall what was in which position, but this looks like an idea. Yeah.
I thought this was also somehow drawn by specialists by this point, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is more dangerous than I remember.
All right, so we'll continue clicking at the games. Ali Reza against Artemiev. What is this?
That's a really weird move order by Artemiev.
He plays A6 and Ali Reza doesn't take it, which is interesting in itself because I thought that's what everyone did now.
Yeah, but G3, I mean, if there is a move order against which G3 is kind of sensible, it's probably this. And knight takes D4 shouldn't be a refutation of it. I played a lot of G3 Sicilians when I was a kid, and I'm trying to figure out why, like, what would worry me here if I played G3 in this one.
This seems
So now it's just gonna go B3, right? And then drop the queen back to D2.
Yeah, this looks like it should be very pleasant for white. That looks fine. Also, knight E7, bishop B3, queen B6 might be quite a pleasant endgame, frankly.
But it's gonna go to B5 first, though.
It's gonna go B5 though, yeah.
Chess Explained of Fight Like Magnus fame on Chessable is asking, you're analyzing, right? 2700 player with the worst taste in music with examples. If you heard the background music...
Hammer is a former 2700 player, right?
Sure. What does he listen to? I don't know, actually.
Well, the worst part is, like, he listens to Spotify, but he's too cheap to get Spotify Premium.
Maybe some family account, maybe someone next to him can get it.
I don't know. Somebody, free, I would say, #free hammer. He's got to get himself, a premium account, and then you guys should get just 24.
So if you don't have a premium, Hammer's actually in the chat. He's saying, I think this is one of the main problems.
No, his singing is kind of cute, I would say.
So if you don't have a Spotify Premium, you get like ads within the songs. How does it work?
And then you get ads with the song, and you can skip like 3 songs in an hour. Like
okay, so you have to listen to them all.
They make it pretty horrible for you.
We should make Chess24 that way, that if you're not premium, you can still watch the video series, but you can't skip any Lawrence videos.
Oh, that's...
Business.
Yeah, that's very good. And then also all the commercials are for going premium, basically.
Right. Peter, which game caught your eye?
I think it was H6, right?
Yeah, the H6 in Lev's game.
Oh, I know this position. Queen C2, he went H6. Whoa. Why is he playing Petrov for starters? That's not what he does. Here they usually play knight A6, A3, and then long theory starts after bishop G4, or other moves have been tried, but this I've never seen.
Well, this one is sometimes played on the Play Magnus app by Magnus H6, but I haven't really seen it apart from that.
Dominguez might have seen it. He played Rook E1. Even though, no, he took some time, so probably not.
Oh, Hammer, I have this on my computer. Stop spoiling my prep. Hammer's really getting the worst of it by this point.
Poor Hammer. Okay, news to me. H6. Oh, great news. Giri So. That is the one pairing that chess fans have been waiting to see. Anish with the white pieces.
It's gonna be a classic squeeze.
Wesley walked right into it. This structure, by the way, all kidding aside, do you think white is slightly better?
Yeah.
I always thought it can't be anything, but I was sitting next to Anish when he was playing this game against Ding with black, and Ding really just, pushed him, and then at some point these pawns started running up the board and it looked very unpleasant. So, curious how this one will go. Usually Anish, he's not that aggressive though, so sometimes he doesn't follow through with like a kingside attack later.
That's just rude. Don't say that.
You don't agree? That was not meant as an insult, but it's not in his style to push h4, g4 in these positions, what I'm saying.
If he feels it's safe, yeah, then he will do it.
Alright, I apologize,
We'll
Anish.
do it, and then he will just back off at a critical moment.
That's even more rude.
I don't know. So is he just gonna go 95, then go f4, then go h4, push everything?
Yeah.
Like if this is the case, white could just be much better.
Anish needs a victory. He had a tough loss yesterday against Yu Yang Yi where his rook got trapped on e6 there. So he needs a comeback.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Oh, we have this. This is another interesting position to ask you about. Because I was giving some lecture to US kids. Shout out, Charlotte. And we had this position, and I was trying to argue that it seems to be okay for black, and they did not believe me. What say you?
This is the hammer line.
This is the hammer Lamy line, yeah. This was
I think
your game against Vladdy.
I thought it was just a hammer line.
But I mean, the most famous example of this is, of course, the game Alexander Garechkin lost in the World Championship match to Juven Jun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really, really can't lose this with white unless you try hard. And then she came back. I thought this was the end of the match, frankly. She lost it, I think it was game 10, right out of 12. And if you lose a position like this with white when the scores are level, you, like, as an observer, you don't rate the chances for that player to come back very highly, but she did, so. Very impressive.
Fjorden is asking, Jan, are you reading only the premium questions? So we, the others, don't bother ourselves asking. No, as you see by me reading that question. All questions welcome. But premiums, of course, do get preferential treatment on chess24.com as they keep the lights on, as they allow us to do things like the Magnus invite, and so on and so forth. But yeah, there you go. So what is this position? Do you believe black is okay? Vishy seems to believe so.
It seems to be the consensus.
Should e2, do you go h5 or h6 or f6?
I think they go h5.
Yep. That's what Lamy did, put his king somewhere and then did nothing for the rest of the game. Libertarian is asking, Jan, are you joining German army? No. I'm 40 years old.
Would you have joined it back in the day when it was powerful?
I was in the German army, actually. I had 2 months of basic training, which were pretty tough. It was a cold winter in 1999. Then it was smooth sailing because I had this sports unit, whatever it's called. So I was, playing chess tournaments and showing up once a month saying hi. But yeah, the basic training was tough. Any other questions? I'm good at shooting. I was pretty useless at most army stuff. Shooting I was gifted at. Just so you guys know. Vidit. Oh, I've seen this line. This is this... whatever it's called. Queen's Gambit accepted. E4, E5. Theory debate. There was some Topalov game here. Last time I checked, black was supposed to be alright, but I'm not exactly up to date. Vidit, very good theoretician. No, he knows this stuff.
He's from the Anish Giri school.
Exactly.
But he's a pawn down. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
That's some expert counting right there.
Yeah, this is probably some kind of theory. It looks perfectly fine for black right now, but
Yeah.
maybe I'm missing something because it looks like the counterplay against the b4 pawn is just a lot faster than anything we're doing in the center here.
So I mean, knight d4 would be interesting, except don't think it works.
Why
does it just be fine?
Actually, maybe we can still do it, right? Because bishop f2, I'm not that bothered. c5 works, yeah.
c5.
Yeah, c5 works. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, this would have been really nice if it worked. When
Yeah, I have connection issues apparently.
Blobix, I'm not gonna read it out, but I did chuckle. That was funny. And apologies if I'm not reading out that many questions anymore, because now we have all the games going on. So the Q&A is on hold for now. Conero, who you fun? What's the status with Hu Yifan? She is still the strongest female player in the world, but she has not participated in women's tournaments for a while, right? So she's... I'm a bit surprised because she seemed to be unhappy playing against women. At least there was this famous Gibraltar incident. But here, she is representing China on the women's board.
Yeah. I think the answer is she doesn't really play much, but now she's home anyway, so... And she did play, yeah, she was commentating, so she's not completely out of chance.
Right. She was in, we talked about yesterday, I think Oxford for a year, but she finished her program over there, so I think she's back in China. And yeah. Playing some chess here, good old Carlsbad structure. Is this a good version for black or not really?
All Carlsbads are good.
But for which side?
No, that is good in general.
This is a classic
Awesome.
good Carlsbad. Yu Yang Yi Hare Krishna.
This is a classic drawn Carlsbad, I would say.
No, this is the dream for white. You
At least both rooks are on the board.
For how long though?
Yeah, you're saying just rook b8.
Yeah, I mean, if that's actually what we should be aiming for, then rook
Yeah.
b8 solves that problem very efficiently.
It's one of those white is not supposed to win, but it's a question if black wants to do this to himself. White will of course move around for 50 moves, and sometimes you do.
Yeah, the black pieces are a little bit misplaced. Like bishop should be on d6, the knight should be on f6, and the queen on e7. Let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Now I guess white goes take on d8, then knight e2 brings the knight around to d3, and the black pieces are a little bit misplaced. So okay, yeah, something to go for.
Danger Mouse is saying Keith Arkell scores 99% from here against us Patzers. Yeah, knight a4 played. That's a surprise. But okay, same route here. You can go c5, d3 if you want. b2, d3.
Yeah, no worries there.
All right. Any game that catches your eye?
Oh, let's look at our boy Anish again. What has he done?
He's gone e4 here. That's
It was a bit
Bold strategy.
shocking, but I'm sure he has a plan of some sort.
Do we like his plan? Because the bishop is a little silly, no? After you play e4?
Yeah, e4 is just... Ugh.
It's very surprising.
Yeah, I haven't seen this done very much at all. Yeah, and now what do you do? Because, like, how are you going to challenge that knight on c5, which appears to get there by force?
So are you just going to do like bishop f1, take c3, then rook 1 to d4?
But that, I think, slowly becomes worse for white, right? Like rook, maybe even not that slowly, because I can go rook fc8, rook ab8, and b5.
Yeah. Well, rook c4, though.
Ah, yeah, rook c4. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I missed that.
But still, I mean, what is white hoping for?
Are you happy? Yeah, exactly.
No, I think you're hoping to make a draw somehow, because yeah, king f8, king e7, rook c7, rook g8, or rook a7,
You
d7.
shouldn't mention the word draw at all when I'm just playing. It's not good for people.
It brings out the worst in people.
Okay, so he has taken on c5, then gone rook to d4.
No pawn weaknesses.
Maybe we are overly pessimistic about this. Maybe it's not that bad, but
I don't know.
I'm still surprised by this.
Can I bring my king to e7, put all my rooks on the d file, and win?
Oh, you're gonna go rook c4 next time.
Okay.
Start chasing the knight. Maybe bishop f1 first, so... Oh, I didn't think you were gonna go b6. Maybe that is solid.
We'll see, but this e4 surprising strategic decision for sure, no?
Oh yeah.
I'm being told that the Nepomniachtchi game is interesting. Is it? Or people just can't get enough of the structure?
Well, he's up a full exchange somehow by move 20.
b5, cb, queen b5. Okay, 795. Zwischenzug. Yeah. Not that easy to convert, is it?
No, not at all, but still, more progress than you normally expect white to make in this line, right? And 26 versus 12, once again, this is Jan, so we shouldn't read too much into it, but appears to have been a decent bit of prep, all things being equal.
There's a question here from chat. This one, sorry to change the topic from the games, but this one I'm really interested in. Jan, I've been watching your video series on the black side of 1d4, and I'm taking a lot of the lines into my repertoire. Basically, the question is, would you still recommend going for b6 against d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, e3?
I think so. Is there anything wrong with that? Like, obviously you can go bishop e7, but starting with b6, you keep the option of putting the bishop on d6, getting these forwards bishops. I think at some smart point, like knight c3, you start with bishop d6, not bishop b7.
That's not you, though. That Hammer is the one who invented that.
That's very possible. Maybe I was just stealing from Hammer without.
I think
without
that was
knowing
my
politics
point
in
in
that
asking
case.
the whole question.
I wasn't sure where you were going with this.
Yeah.
So it's a Hammer invention, b6 bishop d6.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Hammer. He was right, and yeah, I would absolutely still endorse b6 followed by bishop d6. It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Oh,
Speaking of good stuff, what's Ali Reza doing?
This entire thing in the
What's the problem?
in the Nepomniachtchi Rajabov game appears to be first line from start to finish. I was so surprised by what was going on that I actually went ahead and asked. And at least until move 22 or 23, when the exchange is already gone, it appears to be entirely computer approved for black to just give up that rook on a7.
Wow. We just don't have a clue, do we?
Yeah, I mean, not obvious that
don't
black
have
is
a
so completely fine there. At least not to me, but what do we know?
Rajabov does work on chess, though. So yeah, I was surprised that he was caught in the opening. Still. All right. Still, what's Ali Reza doing? Queen g4. Can we take? What's going on here?
Should be extremely dangerous for black. ED5, queen just maybe ED5 just takes. Maybe you can castle this.
Thanks, Queen Bishop
I
D4.
spotted this, yeah. that's
E5,
what I was-
yeah, E5 anyway. I mean, even
confused.
this is maybe playable for white, yeah. But E5 rook F8, I guess. Or even bishop E5 rook E1 queen E7, yeah.
Yeah.
Just doesn't work.
No.
So yeah, we start with E takes D5 on move 14 here.
Then you can castle.
Yeah. But white is slightly
Plus
better
equal.
here, right? And Artemiev went for something else altogether. He played just
Yeah,
castles.
you
in the
castles,
current
that's
position.
what I was going to say. But now bishop h6, bishop d4, c3.
Yeah, I'm also wondering where he's going with this.
Just bishop f6, maybe. Yeah, maybe just bishop f6.
How happy are you with this as black? Like,
I would say neither very unhappy nor happy.
very happy, yeah. Yeah, it feels to me like it should be preferable for white somehow, but maybe it's not much.
The thing is,
Takes-
though, bishop
Takes
d2.
bishop d2, yeah, I thought.
And
might-
then
might
knight
be.
e5, maybe queen e2, a5. You get some activity.
Yeah, a5 is clever there. CB, AB, yeah.
Yeah.
You do get a lot of jumps. I might have to sacrifice that exchange actually. It's not that.
Oh,
hard.
maybe f4 is strong there.
Can't chicken out.
Yeah, queen f4, I think just knight c4 maybe.
Yeah.
Also, b3 is not insane.
Yeah, with the inclusion of knight e5, queen f4, b3 definitely gains in attractiveness. It's sort of playable even immediately after bishop d2. I was wondering if you could afford doing that. But here it's obviously there's queen d1, there's rook a3, so it might not work out for black.
All right.
Okay, yeah, not tremendously exciting. Although, like rook a d1, bishop d2, I don't see it.
What do you mean, rook 81 directly? Or, in the line?
Yeah, bishop d2, I don't see it. Also, rook a1, king h8, maybe rook d4, gh.
One day this knight will be hanging. Kayakin. What do you know about Kayakin, Magnus? He's not so active recently, is he?
I mean, he's turned 30 and has kids. I think that explains a lot.
So that's like the.
You think it's more the 30 or more the kids?
It's probably more the kids. I don't know. I think he's not fully motivated to play chess at this point.
Right. West Bishop is saying, speaking of Kayakin, since when is he big friends with Jan? You mean me or Nepomniachtchi? I'm not big friends with Kayakin, but I've also never had anything bad with him. I barely know the guy. That's why I'm asking, did seem to me, this is once again pure speculation, that he did well, I think, financially and fame-wise after the match against you in Russia. Maybe that stopped a bit of his chess ambitions, because he's such a big star after the World Championship match.
Yeah, I think that's partly right, but I think he was already doing quite well for himself in terms of localized fame and financial stability even prior to the match. And it's also quite clearly, coming back from the high of playing the World Championship match and actually coming very close to winning it, and then going back to the grind, so to speak, is even without the 30 and kids. I think there is an argument for this not being very easy.
Gotcha.
Remains a very strong player, though. I mean, he shows glimpses of his past form even now.
No, the thing is, to us it seems obvious, right? That Karyakin should be in the Russian team. He's an auto inclusion for this tournament. But on recent merits, it's not quite as clear.
Also, rating-wise, no, I think I'm not sure how heavily we are judging rapid rating, but it's like 2720 compared to Dubov's and Grishuk's 2780, 90. So to me, it wasn't that obvious. I'm not sure what the criteria are. But...
No, actually, when I said we know one name on the team sheet, I don't criticize the choice, and I think he belongs on the team. But mainly, I meant that his status as, in particular, now that Kramnik has kind of retired from active tournament play, he just gets selected regardless. I did mean it more in the political sense of the chess political
I absolutely agree. I feel like he should be on the team for sure. I'm just saying, as an outsider, it's perhaps not as obvious.
Right. There's a question: how many kids does Karyakin have? I think 2. No. Yeah.
I think 2 by this point. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying this to say that this is a wrong selection. It pretty much, I'm sure it is the right selection for the short time controls in particular. He is very, very good at those, despite his somewhat lower rating these days. But also, I don't think there is a Russian national team that, gets to. I mean, he doesn't play if he doesn't want to play, basically, and if he wants to play, he plays. Is the situation.
Similar to Magnus in Norway.
Yeah, almost exactly the same.
It's all political.
I don't know where to go. Which games do you guys want to see?
This is just going to be a draw, I think.
This looks funny. At least what's going on here?
I think the interesting question in the left game is, can Black be better? I think Black is more or less never worse, but...
Yeah, I think the answer is no.
Yeah, I think, in general, the pawn is the pawn is still the more important factor there. But yeah, I can't really imagine Black losing this very much. It's just so solid.
Nietzsche, as we say in Germany.
Exactly.
I had the same structure against Adams once. I had this extra pawn on d4 and the terrible knight on d3, and I went knight a1 a bunch of times in that game, and that move is a little bit tempting here as well. You go rook c4, and then you want to go knight a1 too.
Knight a1, c2, e3, and hope to make progress.
But I mean, you're basically not. Even when you get there, knight goes to, I don't know, knight just goes to b4 if you want, and good luck. Also knight f6, some lines. You're never going to get there. What is happening in the game Vidit against Hall?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, red Vidit blew up. That's why.
Okay, sure.
Here.
So he went 95 in the position we were discussing. He went 95, which seemed very critical. Threatening the super fork on c6. Hao retreated to d7, which is also understandable.
Yeah.
And then things have gone badly wrong for white somehow.
So why did you take on d4 here? What's the
e5, I guess, in the end, right? Takes, rook e5.
Oh, yeah, that was a very cheap blunder.
But you have to suspect if maybe this is what actually got missed in the game, because queen d2 c5 already doesn't look great. Maybe he thought he can do it in this order, queen d2 c5, bishop d4, but now rook takes c4. I think he's just lost, right? I think it's just gone by this point.
Also, there's not exactly rocket science at this level.
Yeah, and yeah, it's kind of painful.
Yeah, not.
Yeah, Vidit continues sort of not enjoying this so far. He lost this position yesterday to Fabi, which he probably doesn't lose very often in sort of under normal circumstances, and now this with the white pieces.
Bishop a1 played. Rook to
but just rook
d4 is
d4.
just one move.
Yeah. Probably other options as well, but rook d4 kind of ends it.
Wow, more controversy about the lineups. Why not Adiban? He's on the team, no? I'm not sure if there's anything official, but I think they more or less rotate the players so that everyone plays a roughly equal number of games, no? On all the teams.
Yeah, who decided that? Like, what's the I don't get the rotating bit. Like, you don't go to the Olympiad and have a rotating policy, do you?
Not me.
Well, it very much depends on who the coach is. I think in Russian teams I played in, there were, dramatically different approaches to this whole thing.
I thought the basic approach there was you lose one game and then you get frozen out.
Yeah, but I think that was kind of more pronounced in the Dalmatov years and is less obvious now. But I mean, there's still definitely some of that going around for sure. But in Dalmatov years, the most famous example was that I think that was the world teams in Beersheva in 05, I want to say, when Rublevsky played in round one. I think we were playing maybe Israel, and he drew this normal Caro structure in the e5 bishop f5 Caro. He at some point got this structure with two bishops against two knights, where white is slightly better, but nothing special, like the c5 dc5 exchanged in this structure.
Yeah, sure.
And Dalmatov basically said to him, your next game will be in round 8 when we play the Chinese women. Please prepare for that. That was a week, basically. With rest days and everything, that was a full week and I think he played Hoi Fan, who was something like 12 at the time or something, but already quite strong. And also you can imagine the psychological pressure this applies to a person when, he doesn't really do anything wrong. And then he's basically benched and told, you will play this somewhat inconsequential match where you will be expected to beat this girl with the black pieces. And he lost that game, of course. So yeah, that was fun.
Seemed like a lot of pressure on the Russian team, especially in the lower boards. No, these guys like Tomaszewski, sometimes Yakovenko, sometimes they didn't have great tournaments. Never seemed that much fun.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes has been the case.
I mean, never seemed that much fun. If you're doing badly, of course, it's an honor to play for the country and all that. Having said all that, why aren't you on the Russian team, Peter?
And I will restate my case as not being good enough.
That's not a good enough answer.
But they just believe you when you're doing your understatement thing. No, maybe that's the problem. Like,
Bazinga. No, but seriously, how do I get into a 4-board team there?
No, I don't even mean here, but you haven't been on the team for a while, even though you keep going strong.
Yeah, and I've made peace with it. Like the first time I wasn't selected since I first got selected in '94 was 2012, and that kind of left me physically shaking for like half a year, because I was, at the time, I was the reigning Russian champion and the reigning World Cup holder, and it was an interesting decision, which I wasn't particularly happy with. But then I've like, when they left me out in 2016, I already could see legitimate reasons for it, and in 2018, I think it was the correct decision. So there you go.
And Coffee of 4 a.m. is saying, elitist chess nerds. That's not a bad name for the show, actually.
That's actually awesome.
Can we call it elitist chess nerds, or is that not specific enough?
I think that's fine. Yeah, I'd be very happy to be on a show called that.
What's going on? Dominguez is still defending this extra pawn position. Anish is making a draw.
Yeah, so we were saying that Wesley was probably slightly better, and he immediately proceeded just to exchange everything.
That's why this matchup was highly anticipated. Yeah, this is just a draw, right? Can Anish try?
No. Don't even think about it. Like F4, rook B2 is...
Yeah. I won't be happy. All right, Vish is also making a draw, question mark.
Is a pawn down?
Yeah, this appears to have gone less, but maybe it's just a fortress now with b5 and a5 already.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have the board. How long? Sorry. My bad. Second time this happened. I apologize.
Maybe you just never get in anywhere, yeah? Like, the only plan that I can see, it probably loses, like b4, a4, and then king b2, king a3, bishop takes a4. That's probably not a winning attempt, right?
That is what she said. Sorry, just catching up, because I think I didn't have the board earlier. When we were talking about the Anish position, f4, rook b2 would have been a really bad idea. And now...
Oh, you found it. She's got a beautiful card spot now.
Let's see.
I like this.
Oh, this is the dream! Knight on d6.
Yeah.
And also, for some reason, a4 and a5 on the board, which...
All of those were in my lecture. It's Nikolic Kramnik, Portish Kasparov, and who lost to Petrosyan? Yeah, that's the name I couldn't think of. Such classics. Magnus, you are actually classically trained, no? You've read all these old books about this stuff, no?
Except for my system, obviously. Yeah, sure. I know my classic to some degree, at least.
So what's the plan here for Black?
Yeah, do we ever actually make enough progress to...
Probably the real answer is no. It's just a lot more pleasant.
So we put the rooks on the e-file and then we try gaining space, no?
Yeah, but I think for those plans, you know, involving f5, f4, you really need a bishop on d6 still being alive, right, to cover the e5 square. And if you don't have the f5, f4 plan, you really aren't.
Yeah, so I think you start by going h4, g5, f6, then you try to trade queens. And if they don't trade queens, then you're not so happy. I don't know.
That's how Kasparov won that game against Portish. That was nice.
I think the mere fact that Black can make a bunch of useful moves and Black cannot do a lot. Sorry, White cannot do a lot.
Guest commentator wants to show her. Was it saying? Nix. All right. Oops, kom nog.
es ganz dunkel.
So we just needs to be right? A little less nerdy as well.
Not much, no. Jeez. We're working on her English. I keep telling her, this is an English show. You can't just interrupt in German, but ugh. Hopeless. Musicuk against Giria. How strong is Giria, Peter? You know these things better than me. She's like 2,500 classical. She's on the team normally, no?
Her selection was one of the less obvious ones in terms of who gets onto the like a two-board Russian team.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. No, I mean she's a very strong player, but there's a.
But Lachno,
a
would you pick
reasonably
Lachno
long-
ahead of her? Like, I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
people
but
declined or
there's-
are busy or at home with kids. Just speculation, but yeah, that's why I'm a bit curious.
But I think Giria has more weight. I feel in these big teams.
All right.
Did not expect that to come from that direction, Magnus, but well played, sir.
Thank you.
Exclamation mark dig. And that's a very niche reference. But yeah.
That's not a fat joke.
No,
I
of
thought
course
it can't
not.
be, but I
Yeah.
didn't get it, so I'm just sitting here
No,
quietly. It must be some wordplay.
Gira literally means barbell in Russian.
Ah. Magnus's range of references is surprisingly wide sometimes. I'm reading an elitist nerd reference.
Dumbbell, not barbell.
It is for sure.
Very much so.
Elitist what?
Elitist nerd. That's the theme of the show. Ali Reza.
Whoa, this livened up significantly somehow.
Mark Twig is saying it's Olga Kettlebell in Google Translate.
What's happening here?
I don't know. You guys are the chess experts.
You always like the combination of the pawn on the 4 and the bishop on g5 is a bit painful, but black is also kind of cramped and not all that harmonious.
Yeah, put on pawn on f2, and you would say that white is safely better. But
Yeah, like something like rook a7 now, and then try to play against the bishop on g5.
yeah, rook b8 for that matter.
Pawns never move back, kids.
Yeah, I don't know why I was so fixated on playing rook a7.
Rook a7 seems a bit of an elitist move, I would say.
Yeah, I'm clearly the chief representative of the elitist faction on this, faction on this show. Yeah,
Of course you are. You have much more highbrow interests than Magnus and me.
That is true. Okay, guys, I have to go. I have other things to do.
That's a bold lie, but we were still very happy to have you. Thank you so much, Magnus Carlsen.
thanks
It's
for
been
stopping
real.
by.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Drive Cat wants to know, why is Mr. Dodgy not playing on Team England? That is an excellent question. But there is no Team England, is there?
There appears to be no Team England. Yeah, there is Team EU though. That should tell you something.
Team Europe? No, I don't think it's EU.
Okay.
Mr. Dodgy says it's because of a little movie I like to call Braveheart. Okay, that explains it. So let's look at the store also, but at the scores. Who's winning? China once again cruising, 1.5 half against India, and
Yeah, and remember when we discussed the Levon position and Magnus stated that black can never be better?
did he
I
lie?
think Lev might be giving mate now, which would mean he is at least slightly better, I assume.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, rook takes f3, followed by, after king g1, I want to go rook c2, knight h3 check, rook f2, rook g2, and rook g1 mate. It sounds like a very long plan, but I honestly don't think there's much white can do about it.
How do we give mate? Sorry, I was distracted.
Rook hf3, I think you cannot go into the center. I think king e1, rook c2 should be a very simple mate of some kind. Like, I don't believe this holds ever. Just too much. So he goes king g1, and now we go, in some order, we go rook c2. He's already played rook c2. And the plan is to play knight h3 check, and then we take 3 moves, but I don't know what white does to stop it. Rook f2, rook g2, rook g1 mate.
If you move the knight, we give mate here.
Yeah, it's honestly, like, I understand it's a very, very long-winded idea, but I just don't see how white stops it. He's played rook b6. I don't know what that does. Let's try. Just knight h3 check right now and rook ff2. I think, you know, I honestly think it's mate. It's not even like winning a rook. I think we give mate.
Yep, we can start with this, obviously, as well. It's, yeah, looks bad. I keep doing this, apologies, I have to. I got so used to having a producer the last couple of shows that my switching screen skills are a little rusty, I apologize. So what we were saying is that Levon can give mate here.
I see no defense whatsoever
Yeah,
to this plan.
like
It
this.
feels like it's just too fast. Yeah, and also I don't really understand what rook b6 is. Why? Yeah, and left starts with rook f2, but I don't think it matters. I think all of these things are equally winning for black. What does that do in terms of their the match situation? That means Europe will go
Don't tempt
one
me
up.
to go back to this evil screen again.
Yeah, Europe will go one up. Giri should never lose this before, like, obviously. Jinxing boots on, but that 3 against 2 should always be a draw. And in Zagnidze Zatonsky, black is much better. I just lost for a second who was black, but yeah, Europe, I think, will just beat the US with that victory by Levon, and potentially Nana will also win with the black pieces against Anna Zatonsky. So a comfortable victory for Europe, actually, against one of the tournament leaders.
Cruising. Did we look at that MVL Nakamura game at all? I think it got lost in the...
It got lost. I think it got
Proceedings.
lost in the process, but yeah, well, Hikaru
wasn't very
defended quite
spectacular.
well.
Just...
It looked like MVL was actually getting somewhere for a while, and then Hikaru found a sequence of accurate defensive moves, and it fizzled out.
It feels like it's our duty to cover every single of Hikaru's Knight BD7 games, so here's another one. Knight g5, this is what Magnus played against him, and this time he does not go for b5, bishop e6, but plays h6, goes back, a4, I'm not sure about, and Hikaru regains the pawn, simplifies, draw. Alright.
Yeah. In other match results, China is leading 2-1 after that very easy victory for Hao over Vidit. And the last game running is that Carlsbad endgame in Canero Hoifan, which black more or less, in particular now that there's been a trade on the b4 square, which locks the entire board down.
White is not
Black,
winning.
yeah, Black is never losing this. Black occasionally wins
Try
these
this,
positions.
but you don't have to.
Yeah. But considering the match situation, I think you could be very justified in just locking everything down and offering a draw. I think draw offers are actually allowed in this tournament. I think we've seen a few.
Also, if there's nothing to do here, it's not hard to find a move repetition that, okay, I'm gonna mess it up by leaving the rook hanging, but you can. You can manufacture something like this if you really want to.
Yeah, so it seems like intrigue only really is properly alive in the match between Russia and the rest of the world, where Jan is now much better in his game against Timur. Something has gone sort of further wrong for Timur in that exchange down position. He was actually holding on quite okay for a while, but now that, I mean, I think White made some progress, and it shouldn't be very easy to hold. And what else do we have here?
El Tolo is saying Germany does not have elite grandmasters. That is correct, but we do have elitist grandmasters.
Nicely done, sir.
Yeah.
Alireza is not really better against Artemiev. Artemiev maybe could have even fought for more, but now he is just, I think he is just fine.
Can't Black still be better here? This bishop looks a little shaky.
I think we play a 5. Yeah, we
five,
play a 5 and it gets out. I think it should be around equal.
Yeah, 5 played.
Yeah, Karyakin is better against Jorge Corey, but yeah, don't know how much. And he's gone for something that's interesting actually, because it feels like this is some kind of an all-in. The rook d3, rook f3, in particular, allowing king b6 here, which I don't think is justified by the match situation. I'm wondering why Sergei chose to go for it. Maybe he just missed something. Yeah, maybe he just missed something because and he does not get you know, quote unquote punished because well, I mean, the position after king b6 and then bishop b5 would have been very, very sharp, and instead Jorge goes bishop b8, and now White has options.
Yeah. What are those options?
I'm trying to figure out what those options are actually. Yeah, maybe we might have to play rook b3 anyway, which is a bit regrettable. But giving up the pawn on b2 by leaving with the bishop doesn't feel very attractive either. And on the women's board, I think Gire had a very, very nice position, but I'm not so sure anymore. I think maybe White stabilized there.
Gryffindor is saying, can someone explain why there is no draw jokes about Rajabov? He is far better drawish than Giri. I agree to some extent. I'm not sure who's more drawish, but Giri has monopolized the draw jokes tournament. That feels very unfair when Rajabov and Wesley and Karyakin, if he's not in the mood, are very much worthy contenders. I'm sure I'm forgetting some other CCC members here. But yeah, Anish has cornered that market to an extent that feels excessive.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Duke Agro, you're arguing about my volume again. Haven't we agreed yesterday that we can't be friends and it's not going to work between the show and you? I still apologize that I'm yelling down the mic all the time, but Duke Agro, it's not you, it's me. Just go.
That is not the accepted policy, though. Like,
that's not how you do it.
Like, I've not seen this done very much, and it's the novelty is quite striking, but I don't know if it's a sustainable business model.
Not sure if it works. Yeah.
Yeah, and what did I want to? There was a point I was going to make, and then I heard you, respond to Duke, and all of my thoughts were immediately swept away.
Sorry. What's your point?
I've honestly forgotten. don't know anymore. Did I have a point? Was it all a dream?
I don't know.
I was going to say.
I switched to the chat to argue with Duke Agro.
Yeah, I remember now. I was going to say that Tamor is a prime example of an extremely strong player who is kind of hibernating like 80% of the time, but will maul you if you wake him up, as let's say the World Cup has shown. If you place him in a situation where the format doesn't actually allow him to be extremely peaceful, he can still beat pretty much anybody in the world.
That's what it takes to be a proper drawmeister too. You gotta have the strength that if people challenge you and don't want the draw, you just punish them for it.
Yeah, and yeah, I think by this point he is maybe the prime example of such a player. You know, tremendously strong, but also you really need to, you know, poke him with a stick for a while to to make him destroy you utterly and crush your soul.
Yep, no soul crushing, but today
yeah,
did not listen.
In the meantime, he does lose this game to Jan Nepomniachtchi, and I was if I was doing my normal beat of never looking at the computer evaluations, I would suggest this is some kind of an opening disaster. But he was actually fine up until a certain moment, and then it became progressively harder and harder to hold, and he ended up allowing the white pieces to become very active and in the position you see on your screen. Either black gets mated or the bishop gets lost, because bishop e7, rook cc7, of course, is completely winning.
China wins again, 2.5, 1.5 versus India. Russia up 1-0 against the rest of the world. Europe taking the lead thanks to Aronian, probably giving that very checkmate against the USA. Giri will draw, securing the 2-2 for the Europeans. And then it will come down to Zagnitze versus Satonsky, where it looked like Zagnitze had, at least an unlosable position. So Europe's taking that one. Pawn up, probably actually.
Yeah, pawn up, probably just winning by this point, and Giri not really. FNH against G is just like about as drawn as these endgames go. And in the Russian match, Russia is 1-0 up. Artemiev is now actually in some trouble against Firouzja, because Firouzja managed to trick him a little bit. It's still not an easy conversion by any means, but at least there's a shot. Karakin is maybe just winning now against Jorge. That kind of escalated quickly there, and Giri is in trouble against Maria Muzachuk. So that match is still very much up in the air. Who knows what will happen there? The 1 point lead is decidedly unsafe considering the positions on other boards. Rook dh1 feels like a strange choice, though, giving up the pawn on g5. You really do need to have some kind of a tactical justification to allowing black to take on g5. Otherwise, most of your mating threats now are gone, and black should be instantly fine.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I think it's just not there.
This happened.
Check and f4.
Check and f4.
Check and f4 played, and no, that's actually kind of smart, because she wants 96 knight g4, but after 94 knight g4 there might be a tactical solution, right? I mean, knight d2 rook c1. If all else fails, we do have this bailout. Trading one pair of rooks, and then actually the white pawns are much weaker than the black ones. White might need to be careful not to lose.
Yeah, looks good enough.
Yeah, that definitely is an improvement in Russia's fortunes there. Not having to worry about losing this endgame probably anymore, although, of course, they're both down to about a minute, and nothing is entirely safe when you're so low on the clock. But position-wise, I think the worst is behind Olga here.
Yup. Position-wise, the worst.
So all of this actually happened on the board. I think white does make a draw with something like rook c7 right now after king takes h8, but yeah, not really playing for a win anymore.
Ah, this happened in the other game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In control. How's Ali Reza?
Alireza is a pawn up, but the knight on g6 does a very good job of keeping the king side reasonably safe. I don't know how easy this is to convert.
What's the clock? Oh, they're both very low on time.
Yeah, it's we should probably stick with this one because it's two of the more exciting players in the field, and it also has a very, very direct bearing on the outcome of the match. He played rook d5, so now the question is something like rook c7, sorry, rook e8 check followed by rook c7, is that anything at all, or is black just fine after something like knight e5 check?
What's the answer?
I don't know, but I think knight e5 check is holds, and Alireza agrees, goes bishop d4 instead. Yeah, it's one of those positions where it's clear that, you know, white should be better because white has the more pawns, but despite this knight currently being a bit passive on g6, you're still worried you will blunder a fork somewhere and things will go poorly for you if you do.
Ali Reza probably is a top draft pick for not blundering forks with real time.
Yeah,
no?
he is. You would like him to be sort of you know, batting for your life here in the not blundering of fork stakes for sure. Yeah.
Can you do some rook e7 funny business?
I think rook d7 is the plan. I think this is why we put two rooks on the d file here for black.
You went rook c7.
And surprisingly, Artemiev doesn't go rook d7. Am I blundering something? Why is... maybe rook d7, rook e7 then?
But then we could have started with rook e7 to force
Yeah, exactly.
it.
I don't know. But why can't we take... okay, rook g5 check is a threat. That was very clever by Artemiev, actually. Took me a while to realize he's created a bit of a deadly threat there. King h3, and now we can go rook h5, rook g5. We can also go rook g5 instantly. But that allows rook g4. Yeah, not a very easy position to play on 20 seconds, I will say.
Russia up
king
to
g2
0.
played.
So Karyakin has won his game.
Then this becomes a lot less relevant because Gira should not lose her endgame, and with 2 points already in the bank, Artemiev doesn't even need to score half a point in this endgame. So
Yep.
that's an important victory for Russia. And in the meantime, Gira is now going to defend an endgame of pawn down, which I think is probably still closer to a draw than anything else, but not as clear cut as it was earlier. So back to this maybe being relevant.
It's a roller coaster.
It is a veritable roller coaster of emotions right here.
Europe has won 3-1 against the USA, and China has defeated India in the meantime. So the only question is, can the rest of the world make a comeback. Artemiev still fighting for the draw. And so is Giria.
Yeah, they need half a point from those two positions, which I think they should get under normal circumstances, but very, very low on the clock on both boards. Who knows what this will result in? I'm starting to
Find out
kind
soon.
of dislike Giria's chances. This looks like an endgame it's very, very possible to lose.
Before some knight c6 or
Yeah,
where-
knight c6
where-
already, like, but maybe we take on f4 and
Yeah.
we pretend it's fine. But yeah, I don't know how fine we are actually. The king is still very far from the b4 pawn. Maybe you get kind of maybe white can ask enough questions there. We'll see.
Who are the team captains for all them teams?
It's Motilov for Russia. I think Gary is captaining team USA, I want to say, but like I should know, but I get confused. No, Gary's captaining Europe actually, not the US. Gary's captaining Europe. Motilov is captaining Russia. Ye Zhongchang, as usual, captaining the Chinese. The US are being captained by John Donaldson. Also not a surprise. India has an advisor and not an official captain, at least according to the FIDE.com page I'm currently reading. And the advisor is Vladimir Kramnik. And the FIDE president is captaining the rest of the world.
What do you think Vlad is advising? Like, stop losing?
Yeah.
Do you think he sends them opening preparation or more like strategy advice? How does that work?
He probably sends them memes.
That is very possible as well. John Donaldson is captain for Team USA. I read Team USA will have a rough Zoom call with Rex Sinkfield later on. John Donaldson, he's been the team captain at Olympiads for a long time, no?
Yeah. That is not at all surprising. He's been doing that for quite some time with I think with great success, and he's been behind the some of the better results for Team USA in recent years.
So Vishy is the team captain for the Indian team. And Kramnik is the advisor. How does it work? Vishy as a playing captain, does he have like windows open with the other games, and then he's saying, draw there?
take a draw. Yeah, I don't know. This is a brave new world. I really don't know how all of these things work out logistically.
What we do know is that Russia needs half a point out of these two endgames in the Artemiev and the Giria games. Giria, I guess, should be a draw, but of course you keep trying with the.
Yeah, I mean
pawn.
this is clearly a draw because you can just give up the knight for the pawn. One thing you don't want to do is enter into some kind of a rook endgame when the king is still so far away from the b pawn. But I mean, once it crosses over towards somewhere like b7, it really is game over effectively, because I mean, rook knight against rook is very, very drawn, and you don't even get that normally.
Yeah, and here after rook d6, there's really not much to play for. The king is coming, pawn is stopped.
Yeah. Before king d7, king c8. Yeah, this is not very interesting, and that sort of takes a little bit of intrigue out of us watching the Alireza game, because if we assume, which I think is a very safe assumption here, that Olga doesn't lose, then Vladislav doesn't need to draw this. I mean, he would obviously prefer not to lose because who wants to lose a chess game? But some of the pressure is off if the match is already over, effectively.
Some more moves incoming. Both sides more or less surviving on the increment here, meaning
Yeah,
the
pretty
players
much.
get 10 seconds extra per move made. They started with 25 minutes, but now they have these 10 seconds per move to think, which is plenty in online chess. You don't have to press a clock or write down a move or anything, but it still takes a little getting used to constantly live on the edge for these few seconds.
Yeah, it's clearly an improvement for black to get that knight from g6 to e6. It's a much better, or d7 even, as Vladislav demonstrates. Yeah, now that he's played knight d7, it has to be just a very comfortable draw because he just wins the pawn back. And yeah, if black picks up on a4, there's really not very much white can realistically hope for.
Nah, it's gonna be two draws. Well, even
In
though,
the end, yeah,
no,
comfortable victory for Team Russia in this one. And for the overall standings, this will mean that, let me try and extrapolate. China is now in the sole lead on 7 because they win again. It's actually quite easy. The US is a full match behind on 5, having lost to Europe. Europe catches them up, and Russia will also have 5, I guess, right? Because they no, Russia drew 1 and lost 1, and today
no, they will have 5 after they win.
they will have 5 because they hang on. Yesterday they drew 1 and lost 1, right? And today they drew the first one. They will have 4. They will have 4 points, I think.
I
You
think
disagree.
the cross table disagrees, but I'm never sure about them standings. Let's bring them up. I'm not sure if you can see those, probably not. China has 7, USA has 5, Europe has 5, Russia has 3, but should they win, they would have more, or is that included?
No, I have a
maybe
feeling
they
this is-
currently
this-
have 3 because it's 2-1
Yeah.
or 2-0.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I'm actually right.
You're right, sorry. I misread. That's, yeah, because they already have secured 1. Rest of the world too.
Yeah.
And
So
India,
they will be on 4 points.
0.
And yeah, two teams are not currently doing all that well. The rest of the world team and the Indian team are way behind.
Yeah, Vidit lost 3 games in a row there. And it looks like our last running game is Musichuk versus Giria, where
Not very running.
I'm
though.
not classically trained on pawn endgames, but this is usually a draw.
Yeah, this probably doesn't last very long, I would assume.
So
And it has concluded.
Russia up to 4 points. You were right, of course. And the game is over because of good old stalemate. Are you in favor of changing stalemate to a white victory?
I think, like, my usual viewpoint on all of these things is like, don't touch the main game, but if somebody creates a variant where stalemate is winning for the stronger side, and let's say we call it wild chess, and there are
Kramnik
wild
chess.
tournaments. Well, I mean, there are so many things that he's suggested by this point that
Exactly.
quoting.
One of them
No, but
will be called
this wild variant we can call, I don't know, Nigel chess, because I think Nigel maybe was at the forefront of that movement.
Vladimir
so-
Short.
Something along those lines, yeah. So, and there's like a separate competition for people wanting to play wild formats. I'd be interested to try to see just how useless how drilled into the knowledge that was drilled into us over years and years of study, just how useless it will be if you just can't rely on drawing the endgames you would draw in your sleep, and the adjustments you would have to make and all that. But yeah, I'm always very careful to say that just sort of don't touch the original version. The original version should not be tinkered with too much. But as additional sources of chess entertainment, variants are fine, and I wouldn't mind trying that out.
Does sound fascinating. I'm still working on my tower defense chess games, where the bishops are shooting diagonally at intruders, the rooks are shooting straight. The knights, they're close range jumpers. You have like your pawn wall when these guys start running at your castle. I think, Vladimir, if you're watching, that's the one you should be pursuing.
Yeah, I miss tower defense.
It still exists.
Well, I understand, but I no longer play very many of those, and
All right.
it feels like there's a hole in my soul.
But that's an easily fixed hole. Just get a tower defense game.
I did actually reinstall Kingdom Rush,
There you go.
and it turned out I can't really play it enjoyably anymore because it's kind of too slow and just doesn't bring the same joy.
All right. I've had a lot of joy covering this today. We should, of course, do our last category, which is a little something called plugs. And let's start with the selfish plugs. Obviously, go buy my Chessable course, chessable.com/Jan. It is an amazing repertoire for black after 1e4. It's pretty advanced. I would think that you can play any Super Grandmaster tournament, follow my advice, and be in decent shape. But that's just what I would think. It might be over people's heads because I'm so smart and I have chess engines. But it is... I'm a great plug writer. It's a good repertoire. I worked a lot on this, so check it out. chessable.com/Jan. Also, if you want to get a premium account and get access to tons of series, some of those by Peter Svidler, some of those by me, some of those by Magnus Carlsen, Vishy Anand, and so on and so forth, then go to chess24.com. Have a look around. If you like it, then consider going premium. That gives you access to all the video series. It allows you to challenge the likes of Peter Svidler, Magnus Carlsen, Jan Gustafsson, and so on and so forth in Banter Blitz matches where Chess24 premium members can play against certain chess grandmasters. I think it's a good deal, so check that out. What else is on my plugging list? Go play Tactics Frenzy, the app, where Magnus has still not retaken the top spot, but he might eventually. Visit our friends at Chessable. There are other good series, I'm being told, other than mine. Although, obviously, let's face it, mine is by far the best. Thank you guys for watching.
It is clearly superior, so
It is
start with that and proceed from there.
chess24.com/premium, chessable.com/everything. Not sure that's an actual URL. Go to chessable.com. Check out our friends at Play Magnus as well. And I believe that's it. Peter, famous last words.
Are those words? They are pretty much words in today's climate, right?
Thanks, everybody. It's been fun. Thank you so much to world champion Magnus Carlsen for joining the J. Peterman show today. We will be back. I'm not sure if with Magnus, I would guess not, but it's been a great, great honor to have him here. We'll be back tomorrow. See you guys then. Bye.
See you tomorrow. A question on Twitter from Damas. I should not have pronounced that. That was a bit of a trap, yeah?
For those of you who are new to chess, It might look like ba3 is an illegal move here, because white advances pawn 2 squares, not 1. But it's a little something we call en passant. And you can do that, but you have to do it instantly. You can't wait for a move, like let's say play king e7, king g2, and now try, because I couldn't do it.
I'm sorry. This is too funny for words.
This is a software glitch? I'm pretty sure there's not allowed.
Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence. Yeah, I'll play 4 against Lawrence. And now he's going to play something against me which we discussed at length during the course of my stay. Yeah, he told me this is excellent. d5, this was what I was kind of hoping for, because now I think e5 is quite strong. No, Lawrence, this is not how chess works. Sadly, it would be much, much more fun if chess actually worked like this. But I don't think it does. Or maybe it does. Well, that's me regretting what I just said. How did I get from there to here is a little bit beyond me. And what's worse, I will never hear the end of it. My quality of life has just gone downhill tremendously because I'm actually sharing the office with the guy.
e5, it's e5, Patzers.
A complete repertoire against 1e4 based on 1e5, now available to study with Chessable's unique Move Trainer technology. The backbone is the Marshall Gambit against the Spanish, with 3 knight f6 against the Italian. Jan Gustafsson has revisited all these lines he has played for 20 years and worked on as a second for Peter Lecco and Magnus Carlsen, amongst others, with the help of the most powerful engines out there, Leela 0 and Stockfish 10. This has led to many new discoveries and a repertoire ready to master on Chessable that can serve the student for a long chess career.
Maybe e4 doesn't exist after all.
e5, it's e5, Patzers.